It is not recording yet.
Yeah, we'll wait. 1 second. Can I turn these blinds down? Yeah. Sorry.
Is that good?
I don't know why we don't have some down here as well.
Yeah.
Says you're good.
We're good. All right, good evening again. It is Wednesday, May 17th, 2023, 6:30 p.m. or 31 p.m. And I hereby call to order the Board of Director meeting of Williamson-Travis County Municipal District Number 1. Just want to make a notation before we move on to agenda item number 1 on the agenda. Persons wishing to speak during citizen communication must sign up to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. So if you want to, okay, here's a signing sheet. Comments on applicable agenda items may be expressed during citizen communication only. And so with that, we can move on to comments and questions from district residents. You have 2 minutes, starting with Carol Norrell.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the
I'll
opportunity.
give you 1 minute here, 1 second for get the.
Okay. Yes, I don't want to lose any of my time.
Yeah. And I am ready when you are.
Okay, thank you. I really did not intend to come to speak tonight at all, but I will say to you, certainly welcome, Kelly, and I wish and hope for the best and that we're going to really be a very positive, forward-moving board and good business is ahead of us. The reason I'm here is that for whatever reason, it seems that I have become a person to call for whatever, and I have directed people as best I can to the site for this or that. But one of the things that, as I said, I wasn't planning to speak, but some of the calls that have come in, there's one in particular that I thought I'm just going to lay it there and ask you to talk to Cole about it, and y'all do with it whatever. But the call that has come to me from more than one avenue is that in that month of March, when we had so many meetings, when we had 3 board members present for those particular meetings, there was a time, Linda, when you made the statement that Sage Management and the attorney at the time had been fired. And it has come up on numerous conversations towards me. I have looked back. I have tried to locate that myself. I saw the night that the attorney left. I understand that he made his resignation available the following day or a few days thereafter. But I don't see anywhere, and it may be my fault, but I don't see anywhere where Sage was fired. And so I'm just bringing that before you because it has come to me on several avenues. Of course, there were some other things perhaps to bring forward, but nevertheless, that one really kind of got under me. So I was hoping that you all would put that on a search with Cole and deal with it as is the appropriate way to deal with it. I've also had it brought to me that the people who spoke to me were referred to, Linda, as seeking out a popularity contest, and some have been offended by that phrase. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity tonight.
Okay, I have Whitney. And you state your full name.
Whitney Cheryl Brunn. All right. I live at 3300 Blazing Star Trail. We do have a situation at 3210 Blazing Star. I have noticed like delivery of wrecked cars being delivered there. They're welding and painting cars and they live right across the cul-de-sac from me. They're working on cars in the driveway and the garage and on the street. They also have 7 or 8 cars in the street themselves. So the house themselves have those cars there that are kind of taking up the whole cul-de-sac and around. They are driving and testing the cars, so I really think they are fixing up cars from what I can see. So those are kind of the things that I have noticed in the neighborhood with that. I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I have been seeing in that neighborhood. And so it's a little disturbing a little bit.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
All right, so that's all we have for tonight for comments and questions from district residents. Moving on to item number 2 on the agenda, engineer's report.
All right, good evening, everybody. The Hacks lift station has been in temporary mode now, operating without the bypass pump system. So we're going there. Our office have sent out, and within the packet, there's a notice where we sent to the request to the TCEQ asking to waive under the emergency, the bidding process under the emergency maintenance or repairs statute. We've done that. We received their authorization for that work to proceed and continue. We worked with Cole to verify the dates of authorizations and all of this type of stuff. We worked with the contractor on the contract, got that signed off on. He's bringing copies tonight for the board to sign, so he'll have those when he gets here. And then we've issued a notice to proceed, and so the contractor can move forward with getting submittals together and getting those things turned in, reviewed, approved, returned, so we can start getting the equipment ordered up and have it start. There will be some work they can do on site prior to the equipment, which they will be actively doing that work once we get to that stage. I'll definitely inform everybody of that. Outside of that, if you've got any questions on that, I'll be happy to address them.
So you're done with the report? Is that it?
Well, I'm just going to ask about, no. I was just
Let's go, yeah, go ahead and do the entire report, and then we'll open for questions so we can move on effectively.
I'll do that. The only other stuff I've got as far as district facilities or other matters is it would be great to get an infrastructure committee together so that we can get back on top of some of these things that are out there. Some are routine, but they need to be followed up on and make sure we're on top of as a group. And that's the end of my report.
And we will start with you, Beth, if you have any comments or questions. You have 3 minutes.
I don't think that I have any. I mean, I know you've got a lot of work ahead, so, but not this meeting. I don't have a question. But thank you for what you're doing.
Okay, Director Flores.
Herb, how many items do you say would be on your list for the infrastructure to handle when you guys meet? Is that list is obviously growing as time goes by?
Sure, I'd say probably, I mean, it fluctuates, but right now I could probably think of 5 right off the bat. Sometimes it goes up depending upon what's going on within the.
And what are those 5 really quick?
Well, there's your CIP list that's been hanging out there now for quite some time, putting that together. It's a 5-year plan of maintenance projects that go on. There's reviewing the certifications on the wastewater system. I believe that's coming up within another year or 2. There's also the, I need to follow up with Infomark on the lead copper rules changes that occurred or come into effect next year. That's really kind of off the top of my head. Those are the items.
That's the only questions I have. Thank you. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
Director Popper.
I don't know how much you're aware, but we just had an influx of invoices old invoices. This is the second month in a row, and there are a lot of them for the Hatch lift station in last month's and this month's. So now that Mackenzie, I believe, she's confirmed for me that they're completely caught up. We won't be seeing these year-old invoices anymore. I'm going to look at all the invoices for Hatch lift station in the order of occurrence, because there are some things in there that just I want to talk to you about. Until I put them in order, we're not going to have that conversation. Also, I noticed in this month's batch of invoices, all of a sudden now the Dagama lift station is having problems. Its generator went out. Mackenzie, what else was wrong with that thing? It had some
The hour
wastewater.
meter, the hour meter.
So
don't work.
it was actually one problem happened, and then when it was fixed, more problems continued to happen. But yes, you're correct. The hour meter, the generator, I believe, was not working. So they contacted Generator Field Services, I think is the company, and got that repaired. And then once they repaired that, something else happened. So it was like after one thing after another.
And that's what I noticed in the work order transaction history, looking at them. And so I was going to ask you, are you aware of any problems with the Dagama lift station?
No, ma'am.
Not yet, okay. Also, and to follow up on David's question, the infrastructure committee, why you would like to have that committee, the things you're listing, like review the certification of the wastewater, none of us could do that for you, we don't know that stuff, or lead copper rules, that's usually given by the attorney. So, and we have it further down in the agenda, and you can follow up with it later, but I looked back through a year's worth of minutes, and the infrastructure committee never reports to the board. It always comes from you, which I prefer, honestly, so we can ask you questions. And so I'm gonna question the need for a committee when you have access to a full board who can guide you on a 5-year plan and work with you as a board to come up with the plan for the district with the things that we see through, for instance, the bills and invoice review, and as an example tonight, the Dagama lift station. So, yeah, still need your help, want your input, want it presented to you from a board, because it costs us money for you to meet with just a committee. And like I said, historically, in the minutes for the past year and further back, there has been no report from that committee. The reports come from you, which I like.
Absolutely.
Which I like. Okay.
Yes, we're not to your agenda items just yet, but I'll let you know. That's their later item.
Who is that?
No, it's somebody that will ask me to add to it.
Okay, Director Master.
Hi, it's my first meeting, so a lot of this is new to me, but I had a quick question about the invoice here from Liberty Civil Construction, labor and equipment and materials on these certain dates in April for $19,744. Is that typical, would you say, for there to not be any level of detail on that? Or?
Yeah, what we did is they provided a rate that showed the breakdown of different employees, per day, cost, hours. The days were documented, we followed the days of the work, and this was a 7-day, basically a 7-day project, if I remember. I've been all over the place since I processed that, but I believe it was
Yes.
6 or 7 days.
Yeah.
And the rates all worked out to where it was.
Okay, thank you.
Right, I think we don't have any further questions or comments. I don't have any questions or comments, so move on to item number 3, consent agenda, including approval of minutes, April 19, 2023.
Can you pay Herb so he doesn't have to stay?
I think we can do that if all.
Do you have a check for
agreement with
her?
that.
Because that way we don't have to pay. I'm just sitting right there. Did you have any, the committee have any issues with this check?
No, by any issues.
Is it on
Copy of
pretty
the
close?
budget invoice.
Cole, are you pretty close?
I am,
Is
yes,
this one?
about 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's what
I'm
I
gonna
originally.
get one of those contracts. One of those is for.
Can you ask David as assistant secretary to sign? Thank you. You get paid, Dave. You get paid. More
It's so
Starbucks,
nice when I go back to the office and I have that.
more Starbucks.
I'm on Cole's just a few minutes away. I'm gonna wait on him to
Oh,
get a
for
copy
the-
of the contract to take back.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mackenzie, you can tell her if he doesn't want to wait for the contract, I can get him signed and drop him off at his office tomorrow morning.
If you're just a couple minutes away, I mean, it's probably easier for me to take it than
Yeah.
you.
That's fine. All right, moving on up to item number 3, consent agenda,
He's gonna wait.
He can
He's
wait.
gonna stay.
Okay, great.
including approval of minutes, April 19, 2023, April 25th, 2023.
I have not read April 25th yet. I have read April 19th.
Can you ask Cole if he made the changes that I identified?
Did you make the changes to the minutes that Linda had emailed to you, Cole?
Yes, there was one comment that I did not address that I wanted to look at with the board, but all other changes were made. And I think, if you can tell Linda, the one comment I think is in the second set of minutes, but all other changes were made.
Okay.
Which would work, 'cause I haven't read
Linda,
that
can
one.
you clarify which agenda item you're having? Is it April 19th
It's
or
the
April
25th.
The
I
25th?
had comments, I think, on both, and they were minor typos and stuff.
Okay.
On the 25th, I'm not sure, I can't see the comments on this, on the iPad, so I can't tell which comment he was questioning. Does he remember? We can wait until he gets here.
If you want to move past him, let him get here, and then
Yeah,
you'll.
we can do that.
We can do that.
Are we good? Just letting it pass? Okay, all right. Moving on to 4, bookkeeper's report.
Don't have one tonight. However, you did have your payment register and your invoices, so
Okay.
if you have those,
Yeah, let's do them.
well, it's your
Your checks.
invoices that you went over.
Gotcha.
You
Do
want
we have
to-
any, do we want to go ahead and discuss anything on those checks or,
Yes, I would like to, I had,
can we start
Oh,
with this
sure.
order? So let's go with Director Jones since you in committee.
I've reviewed them, they're
We're
good.
good? Okay. Director Flores,
Sure.
do you have any questions?
I do. Sorry, I'm just trying to.
No, that's fine.
Um, on check number 6895, security system, I just had a question of what that was for.
I'm trying to get to it, hold on one second.
I'm trying to get to, it's a lot of pages to scroll
It's
through.
on, I think it's on page 2. You said 6, 8,
9, 5.
9, okay. That is HughesNet. So that is the security system that provides the internet service for your fob system, so your doors, all of it's the internet and the security portion of that that covers the power to unlock and manually have them, or automatically have them locked.
Okay, yeah, I just
System
wasn't-
spaces, it covers the bathrooms as well.
Okay. And, let's see. There's a lot of paperwork that I didn't see for check number 6882, 6883, 6896, and 6897.
You just spouted off a lot of numbers.
Yeah, I know. So
You're talking about the
The
constables. checks.
constables, I didn't see their.
Backup. The backup for their checks.
Yeah,
I've requested it from the bookkeeper, but I didn't get it
Okay.
in time for y'all's meeting today.
okay. So the other one was 6896.
Something to keep in mind, so anything that, if you look on your check register from page 1
Mhm.
down to page 4,
Okay,
almost everything up to the point where you see Bank Corp South operating comes out of your manager's
Right.
account between the two. So you're not likely going to see it
okay,
in your this check stack. So those checks are not in here.
okay,
Just to keep that in mind.
gotcha.
We will get you the backup for them though. I have requested
Okay,
it
is that
once we
something
get
that
it.
we can do?
On a regular
We're on
basis.
a regular basis,
Yes,
so
we'll
we
put
can-
that through, absolutely.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So if you want, I know that too, I believe, Linda had had a question because we didn't have any backup for Hanoi's check. That's also been requested because the per diem backup was not submitted, with the backup for the payment register.
Okay. On check 6893,
Okay.
it says, first quarter fees, it says that twice. Wouldn't one of those be for payment? Because I looked on the other check that you guys wrote, the first one was the fees, and the second one was for the payment, so I just wanna make sure that it's recorded correctly.
The-
Is that correct?
That is correct. So if you scroll down, that one is included in the backup, actually, not the invoices. We have requested those. But if you pull up it's page 8 of 131 on the document, you'll see that 2519, and then there's the fee, I believe, for, I guess if it was past due. However, we've requested the actual invoices for those, so we've asked for the backup of those as well. So we don't have we have the letter they send, we don't have the actual invoice in your backup.
Sorry, everybody.
That's all right.
One of those things I was driving and I thought, no, I forgot something. I realized it was your contract, so you kill me.
Should have called me, I had to cover.
I also have a question on the work order 3039390. It's for that movie.
In the park?
Mm-hmm. Was that paid back in November?
Yes.
That was already paid for, and you're just seeking reimbursement for that?
So what actually happened, and I addressed this when Linda asked me about this, is, well, we had quite a few work orders coded to the wrong department, and they weren't coming to me, so that's why y'all saw a lot of late ones. I went there and cleaned up everything, so you'll see a lot of the old ones. It was paid for back in November, we've just never billed you for it.
Okay, yeah, because I don't remember a motion to pay for that movie. I remember it was for the movies in the park, but that wasn't the movie that we.
It's the license for that movie.
Yeah.
So you had to pay for a license to be able to show that movie to the public.
We paid that a long time
I
ago.
thought we paid that, so.
It was presented and you approved the amount that we brought to you guys,
Okay.
but it wasn't paid at that time.
Okay. And I also saw that MNC, I guess the electrician, came out to replace ballasts for the tennis
court
courts.
lights, right?
I think it was 4 times or 3 times that they came out. Do we know if it was the same pole? It was all different poles at each different time and.
So, so one was changed because it was burned out.
Right.
And then he came like 2 weeks later because a squirrel or some rodent had chewed through the wires on a
Okay.
different pole.
Okay. So it's been different polls. Okay, I just want to make sure that it wasn't that same poll
Over and
over and over again, and they didn't identify the problem. It's just they just.
We
so-
thought the same thing, I think, as it was the same one, and then they came out and they said it was actually a squirrel that chewed through the wires, and they were, I think where it runs along the edge is where it
Okay,
happened.
That's about it. I just had those questions.
So if y'all want, and I don't mind doing it, and I know that we gotta get through the rest of you, whatever checks y'all have questions about, if you need me to pull them, if they're out of your operating account, I can. They're the stack.
Director Popper, you have any?
I don't have any checks to pull, other than Hanoi, unfortunately, until we have his fees of office. And for a frame of reference, the manager's account, the accountant can write these checks without the 3 signatures of board members. We've given them the authority to do that. But they do come with backup documentation, and this batch had no backup documentation for 98% of these checks. So that's what we were asking for, including the constable's payroll.
Which, another frame of reference, gets paid between meetings
Yes.
every 2 weeks.
That's why they do it without a signature. And then, in the checks that are in McKinsey's hand, I only have a question on how the accountant came up with the total amount to pay the city of Cedar Park when the bill says $190,000. She ended up paying $106,000, but I cannot get back to that number.
I tried myself and I couldn't
I
either.
can't. And then also, in the check register, page 116 through 119 is missing. So there's some batch of something that was done
You sent that out, didn't
that
you?
we can't see. Other than that, I have no issue with any
The
of the
ones that are
checks.
missing were base fee zeroed out invoices that were work orders. They were covered by your base tech and you don't pay for them because they're your base.
And that's fine, but you can't have missing records in a string of documents, and it's clearly
I
missing
didn't realize she labeled
pages
them.
116 through 119. So if the
Probably
bookkeeper can tell me how she got to the Cedar Park amount for bulk water purchases, I'm not going to suggest you hold that check.
Yeah,
We
'cause
need to pay,
I've asked her to
but I
get
want
back
to
you.
know how
I've-
she got that
I
number.
did send it to her. I tried to calculate it myself, couldn't figure it out.
I
saw
can't
the
get there
invoice.
from here.
Mackenzie, didn't you send that on an email, the backup documents later on, or no?
What do you mean? Did I or have I, or will I?
I think you did,
I
that's what I'm
sent
saying.
you guys the payment register and the receipts for all of the work orders.
Gotcha.
What Linda's asking for is some things that she directly had questions about prior to the meeting. I've already sent to the bookkeeper. Once she responds, I can kick it out to all of you.
These.
Because some of
None
the
of
ones
these
were the
have
exact same
backups.
ones that
Yeah,
David
yeah,
had
yeah.
questions about.
Cool.
And then there's a break. You can see page 120, page 115, and no 116, 117, 119. So
There should be more than one break in there too.
that's the only one I found. But if you find more, send it
Well, the
forward.
reason I think that it's more is because I know I went through and I took out the base fee ones before I sent it out, and that was me doing that, so, not the bookkeeper. And it was the same when we went through the invoices,
Right.
and I told y'all these are zeroed out, we just skipped past them.
Right. Yeah. Kelly?
I don't have any questions.
Well, I'm gonna slide these over to you guys, I'm gonna keep yours for now. You'll start signing. You can't sign just yet, we gotta get your signature card done for the bank, they won't accept your signature
Okay.
until we get our
Check the
signature.
recording.
It's recording, the problem is that Caleb hasn't updated the link for it, I don't think.
So
So it's not
live
working.
stream.
No, it is live streaming, but the link is not right on the website.
Oh, okay.
So it's working in live streaming, but he's working on updating the link, I think.
Just go over the sign here only, right? Portions of them.
Caleb is currently driving, so that's the reason he hasn't gone to it yet. Normally, he's not. He said he'll take care of it as soon as he finds a safe spot to stop.
Herb, you want to bring me your check and I'll sign it for you? She doesn't have a signature card
There's
yet.
some portions of the agreement that are not completed, so. I'm wondering
Sorry, I
if
didn't
that
mention
needs
it
to be-
beforehand.
Like,
We'll leave it on there and I'll just
Yeah,
add a
you
fourth.
can leave it
I'll
on
just
there.
add a
Scratch
fourth.
it out,
I will.
they'll question
Can
that.
you do that? Okay. You're signing this.
We know you all approved it tonight. What we'll do is we'll put this into 1295 and the boycott language, so we'll just,
For whenever they have to like notarize, there's a
we can just print that and attach it with that contract.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I think I'll just print it off at the office.
Yeah.
And I'll just
Yeah.
and circulate it attachment.
That's, it's been such a pain.
You're gonna use it when we talk. We'll just keep it here.
I think that's it, right? One signature,
That's exactly what it is.
correct, on the agreement?
Yeah, are you comfortable with filling into your
Yeah,
office?
yeah, Melissa usually does all that, so that's fine.
Okay, great.
And then,
I will take this one,
What is that contract for, Herb?
the amount, this is for the hat station repairs.
Oh, that's the whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, I'd love to see a copy of that.
Let me get you a copy.
Yeah, send me an electronic copy, please. I'd love to see
I'll
it.
have Melissa send it.
Okay.
All right. Anything else out of me?
Thank
for
you, Herb.
coffee.
No, the only comment I'll make about the contract, we reviewed it, we look at the bonds and insurance specifically. One of the general certificates for insurance expires at the end of this year, but I spoke with Gray, their policy is when the year end starts to hit, so probably September to October, November time, they always renew their insurance policy, so once they do that, they're gonna send us an updated policy, which will cover the remainder of the contract duration. So we always wanna make sure that the contractor, whoever you work with, is certified and has insurance through the duration of the contract period. So what we're gonna be, it's kind of on our tickler, kind of in the fall of this year to ask for that updated certificate of insurance.
And that covers the district as well as the writer, so.
okay. So on the date, on page 1 of 2, just want to make sure that our copy coincides with your copy, because if I'm going to turn this into you.
Yeah, I would actually probably recommend getting both to her, and then their office can fill it all out, and then he can bring it
Yeah,
up to
we
the
can
next
do that
meeting.
and then get you the
Yeah,
next.
that's
Once
fine.
Melissa
Put it-
does all the fill outs.
Fine.
She's the one who keeps me in order. You good?
We're good.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, y'all have a great evening.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
The live stream
Alright, so
link has
should
been
we-
fixed. So if anybody's on, they just need to refresh.
Is there anything else on bookkeeper's report that we need no report, but I know, is that it? So can we go back to agenda item number 3 since your attorney's here and
Talk about the
get
minutes.
that done?
They
The
wanted to
minutes?
know if you knew which comment it was that you were,
Yeah, let me pull it up. Oh, no, you're good. It was the comment about, looking at all candidates or looking for something different, and I think you probably rewatched it, because you have it in quotes, so I'm gonna take that. So every other minute set has been approved, or I'm sorry, changed, majority grammatical, and, so there are no other outstanding comments.
For the Sage Management to void checks and write a new check, it has that I abstained. And I'm pretty sure I voted, I didn't vote yes, because they said, hey, raise your hand, and I didn't raise my hand because I was gonna vote no. So that, I'm kind of questioning why it says abstain.
Did you vote no, or did you not vote?
So you asked to raise your hand if you want to, so I didn't raise my hand because I was going to vote no, and my vote was no. If I abstained, I would have given a reason. I didn't abstain.
Okay. What set of minutes is it? I can go back and listen, or I don't know if.
It's on the 25th.
25th?
Yeah. It's the one on page
3.
3.
Okay, I see. Okay. So you're saying you voted no?
Correct.
Okay, all right, we're gonna change it to no. Okay.
Now, do we have any record to verify that he did indeed vote no? Because I recall, I might be totally wrong, but I think I recall that he abstained, he had abstained.
I do too.
Really?
I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You wanted to see documents or something, as I recall, in the meeting. He wanted to see something more that we just didn't have.
Correct.
I do believe you abstained.
I agree that I wanted to see more, but I didn't. No, you know what?
You did.
Let me pull up my notes. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the reasoning was, we had discussed going to SAGE to request additional documentation, doing the fact-finding mission, and then you had said, I don't want to vote yes or no until we get some additional information.
But we weren't withholding a check. We were sending one check out.
No,
The second check.
correct. So a check either needs to be cut or has been cut for that.
Mackenzie, can you verify that check got cut?
I asked them to do so.
It's not in the report.
However, I don't think, so, did y'all determine an amount?
Yeah.
And is it the amount that you sent me?
It is.
Okay.
It's straight
We
from
weren't
this motion.
entirely sure if that's what y'all needed, simply because we didn't know if the impact of the calling for whenever they complete their inspection had any impact on it, but yes, I believe it's either been cut or we'll cut it tomorrow and send it out. I think we needed clarification on the amount, because I wasn't here for that meeting, so.
That is the correct amount.
2,000 some odd, okay.
$6,079.53. And if there is more we owe them, we'll just have to cut them another check.
Okay.
Is it? Okay.
I do have a question about the minutes, though, Cole, now that you're here. Are they supposed to record every motion and every vote?
We typically record every motion that is pertinent to the discussion. So if there are multiple motions that are voted down, it's a board decision, it's up to the board. We try to include what we think is important in a condensed fashion to be able to present to the public and for you all to have a record. If you would prefer to have a record of every motion that's made and every vote, we can do that. It just might take more time for us to do that. So it's really a board decision.
Is there something more you're looking for?
As long as the money things are captured, anything that involves money?
Anything that involves money, we're going to highlight. Typically, at least in my experience, if there's going to be a motion for a payment or payment of bills, it's typically one motion. We won't have several motions over a single check. But yeah, anytime there's any type of money or board action, that's disbursement of checks or signing a contract or something like that, we will have that recorded as a motion.
Those are most important. So do we need to make a motion to approve the bills and invoices minus the check that she's pulled?
Yes.
Mackenzie, do you have a total for us?
No, give me a minute. Well, y'all have the checks, I need them back. Or what you can state is,
Well, I can subtract one.
well, what I was gonna say is you can just say we approve as presented, and then I can add them up and then give it to Cole for the minutes. That way we don't have to wait
Just
for me
we'll
to.
wait for you to add them up, just so it's on record exactly what dollar.
Well, it would still would be, I was just saying, so I don't have to interrupt you in a minute.
I guess we're done discussing item number 3 while she.
We need to
Anything else
vote on
item
that.
3?
You can do a motion.
Okay, so is there a motion?
I'll motion that we approve the consent agenda minutes of April 19th and April 25th.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All right, I guess we'll move to vote. All in favor?
I'm
I
gonna,
didn't write it all, so.
I'm gonna abstain because I'm not sure if yeah, I'm just gonna abstain because I didn't watch the video before April 25th to make sure my vote was correct.
It's second
Motion passes.
Dang it.
So, I mean, you can take.
So
your
did
second
Kelly.
back.
So you
Kelly
can-
seconded it
Kelly
as well.
Seconded
Okay,
too,
okay.
so.
Seconded.
Sorry.
I didn't read the 25th, so I can't. I'm a no.
Jones, because denied. Okay.
All right, you ready? for your amount?
Oh,
$339,925.90. You want me to tell it, email it to you? Okay.
What is that again, 300 and what?
$339,925.90.
Linda, would you like to make a motion as the treasurer?
Okay, I move that we pay the bills and invoices in the amount of $339,925.90.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, we have a second. All in favor? All right, moving on to item number 5, tax assessor collector's report, including the following.
I don't have anything for that, do you? It would have been IMS, so. Moving on.
Moving on to item 6, general manager's report.
Oh, sorry. I will say also, we have one of our litigators in our office on the line right now. If you all want to talk about that, I know that's something that you all probably want to discuss in executive session. So I think some directors had mentioned having her call in early in order to talk about it earlier in the night. But I just want to let you all know she is on the line if you all are ready to have that conversation or after the general manager's report, whatever.
It costs money for her to be on the line, so if we could move that agenda item to the, up, so we can take care of it and
That's agenda
then
item
get them off the
number-
line. That would be, which agenda is it, the attorney's report, or you want to talk about deed enforcement stuff?
It would, you could really do it under either, but it would be under deed enforcement restriction, or yeah, the deed restriction committee. or deed
Okay,
enforcement.
so item 7B, agenda 7B, move forward
Okay, so
to now.
7B, that's going to
Yeah,
be,
so I just unmiked
okay.
myself on the video, and so I don't know how.
Do you want to go into executive session or?
Yes.
yeah, let's go into executive session.
Ask her to hold on.
Natalie,
Question in my eyes.
Natalie, 1 second. The board is going to go into executive session.
Do you have the written? You have to announce it.
Okay, so we are going into executive session, so we ask that you please clear the room, and we will call you back.
Bill Flickinger used to write, all the legal words you have to say, according to chapter such and such, whatever.
That's what I was reading here. I think it is stated, convene executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 5.1.
We move the computer maybe a little closer so we can.
Yeah, I can. I was going to put the video on too today.
And can you be sure that the streaming is off?
It's not, so hold on. Unless Reese turns it off. Get the recording.
Helps too if everybody turns their thing on.
Just press it. Yes, very good. You just want to press it at the bottom, Kelly?
Mine won't go off. With the cocoa.
That's all right. Should this be blinking red? Or
Green.
Oh, it was
All
red
right, so
before.
we have concluded with executive session. We are back on the agenda, item number 6, right, which is a general,
Correct, but I would ask you to make a motion authorizing Coates Rose to proceed as you all discussed in executive session.
okay, so we make a motion that we state that again,
To authorize Coates Rose to proceed
to authorize Coast Road to proceed with,
with the actions that were discussed in executive
okay,
session.
with the actions that have been discussed in the executive session.
I will second that.
All right, we have a second. All in favor? All right, so let's proceed. All right, so general manager's report.
So if you want to go to agenda item 6, you'll find it there. If you scroll down, it's roughly page 9 of 21. Your water accountability for this month was up to 95%. I think part of that is we caught up on some of the flushing logs. However, still better than it has been. Got 81 delinquent letters mailed this month, 62 tags hung, and total of 10 disconnects made. Little Elm Pond has officially been cleaned out again. No dumping signs have been installed. However, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to continue to deter people, but we'll keep an eye on it. Bathroom repairs for all bathrooms have been completed at this time, correct? That's correct. Tiny Towns, which is the company that is making the equipment for Sun Chase Park, had anticipated getting it done in April. However, they reached out to us in some of the recent storms in April. They actually got several tornadoes and sent us some pictures of their property. It affected their shop and put their jobs back. As of right now, they are expecting that to be done on May 22nd. So when that happens, we're going to actually remove some of the chip wood there because there's too much where the tree trunk needs to go, and we're going to just displace that to another part that needs it. Aside from that, I don't have any other updates. That's what they're projecting as of right now.
But the benches have to be moved first.
Do what? They don't. We met him out there. The benches don't have to be moved first. They still need to be moved just because they're in the chipped wood, so we will get them moved, but they don't have to be moved first.
Okay.
The tree trunk's gonna go directly in the middle, and we actually, me and Reese met him out there a couple weeks ago to measure, because I think the tree trunk is like 16 foot wide.
It
And
is.
so there's only a few areas to get it through the entrance into Sun Chase Park without taking out another tree. So we found a place to do that, and we are working with him to make sure we stick to the May 22nd date, because I have to have a crew available with a trailer to transport the chipped wood to another park. So we're working on it. If that changes, we'll obviously update you guys, but that's what they were telling us as of right now.
That's awesome.
They mentioned also doing a discount of some sort. Told them that y'all would absolutely be, geared up for that. He hasn't stated what it will be. I told them to get back to me on that, so you might see some sort of discount, or you might not charge you for the forklift rental that they'll have to do for this. So that may just be what it ends up being, but that is what they're getting for.
Thank you.
Are you removing the chips by hand with shovels and manpower, or are you doing a skid steer?
No, they're gonna use manpower because you have to be able to get it over the plastic barrier. But it's not gonna be that much. It's just enough to get the tree trunk down to the ground level. So they're gonna displace some, they're just gonna, basically, we're gonna have a crew there that's just gonna remove it, put it on a trailer immediately. They'll remove as much as they want us to, and then haul it somewhere else, to one of your other parks. This is actually a year you do chip wood replacement or refresh anyway, so it'll work out, you'll spend less.
It's gonna be cool.
As of right now, we're getting some quotes. We have some cracked surfaces at both tennis courts, correct? As of right now, we don't feel like we need a full refinish. We just think that some of those cracks need to be sealed so they don't continue to crack on the surfaces. So we're gonna get a few quotes to bring back to you guys from Westar and I think Cuts and Cleans, which are two companies that Herb's worked with for years and years, and see if they can't just seal up the cracks so they don't continue to crack. We've noticed them at both tennis courts.
Not here at Lakeline, but both.
Oh, both tennis courts.
And the basketball court there.
I which part?
Andersonville, the basketball court and the tennis courts. I thought Alan told me it was this one. I think it's because I caught him here talking about it. And then we also have a tennis court, net replacements actually in the office. That will be going up at this court.
Yes.
So we got the net already, it's in the office, we just gotta get it installed. They're a little bit of a labor of love to get them installed because you have to run the cord through the pipe. So we'll get some guys out here to do that. I had an agenda item on here, and I would hate to say we should go back into executive session, but we have a customer that I think the board would like to discuss. Beth is aware of this customer. She CCs Beth on a lot of emails. Unfortunately, it's been over a year that we've had to deal with the back and forth. This customer regularly does not pay her bill, unfortunately, on time, and then when she states that she does, she claims that she can't get it to go through on the system, and that every which way she tries to pay just doesn't work. We have investigated this on the back end multiple times and never find issues with receiving her payments. We never find any glitches, and she'll claim that there are. She's threatened many, many times to come to the board. I've encouraged her to. This resident lives off of Lantana. We've had multiple issues where she does have a large dog in the front yard. We've asked her to keep it inside whenever meter reads are done. She has issues with that. Unfortunately, the tech is just not comfortable with large dogs, even if the dog is friendly. We've tried to be communicative with her. However, we're getting to a point where I feel like the board needs to be aware because our hands are tied. We've done everything we can. We've gone many times where we've not charged her deposit on the next month, or we've not charged her disconnect fee just to get by. And when I tell you this is probably one of the biggest issues, it is the biggest issue.
What does she want us to do?
She's not requesting anything from the board. My question to the board is, moving forward, how would you like us to handle the account if she consistently, trying to be professional
I have an
here,
idea.
does not pay on time, however will tell you she did, and then goes and then makes a payment, and then doesn't want you to charge her deposit and reconnect fee?
There is a quick answer to that.
Set her up on auto pay, but she won't.
No, I don't think, well, either it has to go on auto pay or it has to be paid in person. Those are the only two options.
She's aware of when Reese is here. She's aware that there's a drop box. For the longest time, because checks had bounced in the past, we weren't accepting checks from her.
I would say this is real simple. I think you need to follow the rate order. The rate order is what governs payments and how they're received, and all the details are there. You don't make exceptions, because if you do, you need to make exceptions for everybody. Follow the rate order. If you follow the rate order, you can't go wrong.
We have. The problem is it's becoming to the point where today we got a blank email from her that stated nothing, and it's just a response based off of the same email chain.
Can we go into executive session for this? I hate to do it, but I think that.
There's really,
Does it require?
Is there
you
legal?
can't do it exactly.
The only reason it would is if we brought up her address and name.
No,
and all that. I'm not
it's
going to do
not.
that. I don't think it's important.
Is it possible that, Cole, that we can draft up a letter, because it has been going on for over a year?
Yeah,
And I can help you with that, and Mackenzie can help you with
I
that.
have plenty of
We can't mandate that she use auto pay or.
Well, you can.
No, that there's a fee for it, and we can't, there's a fee to use auto pay through the system, the Infomark system. We can't ask her to do that. We can refer her to the rate order. We can ask her to please pay her bill on time.
The problem is if she pays with check and it bounces again,
Then-
we can't accept check again.
Then that's it. You just can't. That's the rate order. Be sure to send her a copy of the rate order. I know you're going to just have to keep doing it, Mackenzie, because you can't make an exception.
Well, my point is we have been following the rate order. I wanted to make you all aware that if she does show up to a meeting and
Okay.
she brings this up, I have brought it up to your attention ahead of time. I've kind of gotten to the point where I will only respond and let her know this is what's going on, and I'm not going to continue to respond to character attacks and
Yeah.
threats, because that's what she is more or less sending us now. So just to make you all aware, this is a situation that's been going on for well over a year.
Will you send me, please, a copy of her account history? Thank you.
Have you all terminated the account before?
What do you mean by terminated?
Turn the water
Just
off.
turn the water
Yes,
off,
this
disconnected.
month, for non-payment.
And if she paid,
She claimed, so this month it was, I paid a week ago, check your cameras. There was no payments in the Dropbox whatsoever. The night that she was calling and harassing customer service, she had customer service on the phone. They were calling me at 6 and 7 p.m. at night to get her water back on. She didn't want to pay reconnect fees, so we encouraged her to wait till the following day so she wouldn't incur late night charges to have her water turned on. That night, she came and put money, or no, she claimed that night she came and put money in the Dropbox, is what she told customer service. The following day when Reese was here is actually when she did pay. However, all the times prior to that, she told customer service she paid. She had not, which is the problem we're having, is she's telling customer service, I've paid, I've done this, I've done that, y'all are in the wrong, and that's not the case.
Director Jones, I think you have a comment on that.
I've known the situation for over a year, so this is not, you know, I don't feel that this is the place to talk about it, but I do understand what's going on, and there's got to be something else that we can do than what we're doing. Did we ever offer this person the discount?
Discount.
What discount?
I thought we were going to have that. We talked, well, I don't want to talk about it
We
here.
didn't offer her
I
any
can-
discounts as of
No,
late.
there was going to be a new plan that was in place,
We've offered her in the past payment extensions and
a new program is what it was. We were going to
And this
send
is
out
all
a new
documented,
program.
right? We have,
our email correspondence is all documented, correct?
I think, would it be appropriate to have a folder of everything that you have, the history of this account, so all of us can be caught up to speed, so we know exactly what Director Jones knows, and we can all.
Yeah, she's not been CC'd on all of it. You haven't actually been CC'd until about the last 6 months. This has been going on
Been-
since
Since
2021.
Frankie was on board, I mean, it's been a long time.
Well, yes, not a problem. We
I
can
just think
put
that
a drive
all
folder
of
up
us
there
should
for
be-
you guys.
I just know the person personally.
The problem is that a lot of the records to her and the customer service call logs and stuff like that, it would take quite a bit of time to pull all of it. We can put a snapshot in there of the number of times called, and they kind of just put little notes that says customer called about X, Y, or Z, but you won't see the full note of it without doing the full data download. I definitely feel like this would be a good option to discuss, simply because I feel like, I don't know what else we could do for her, but it's not that we don't want to help her, it's I can't continue to say, you know, I have to pay this. We've gotten to the point now where we've been telling her over and over again she has to pay, and it's not going well. And obviously, she didn't pay this month, and I would hate to, I don't know what else you could offer her, but that's part of the reason why I'm bringing it to you guys, for you to discuss and decide, and we're trying to follow the rate order, she's been offered payment extensions, she's been offered payment plans, both of which have failed, so where she's been given the option to extend a payment and then not made a payment.
How
So-
long has this account been open? How long has she had this account?
Years. She's lived in the house.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how long. Reese can tell you. She can pull it up. But I can tell you that I have emails that date back to 2021 of dealing with this account almost on a monthly basis. And it's hours of time of responding.
Well, Mackenzie, if you've done everything and she's gotten the payment plan and then she failed the payment plan and the rate order says once you fail the payment plan, you go back to you pay your bill on time, period. That sounds to me like where we are.
More or less.
Is that where we are?
More or less, yeah.
Well, if that's where we are, that's where we are. We can't control whether somebody pays their bill on time. We can't go send reminders, don't forget to pay your bill. That's a personal responsibility. I can think of nothing to do. If she wants to come and plead her case, I'm glad you've offered her. She should, if she wants to. But if you've done everything by the rate order and you've given her latitude according to the rate order, then we are at the place where she needs to pay her bill on time. And the consequences for not doing that are your water gets turned off, you get charged $40 to turn it back on, you pay a reconnect fee or an additional deposit on your next monthly bill, and it snowballs on you real fast. Sometimes natural consequences are the best way to resolve a problem, so.
We've been trying the natural consequences for several months now.
Let's
That's
just,
my point.
let's just
It's
work there. But I love David's idea of build us a folder, let us
Yeah,
all
I
read.
knew that.
notification comes, just know that I've encouraged her to multiple times
Thank
throughout
you.
the last 2.5 years.
Thank you for letting us know.
She's had her account open since 2004.
Oh, that long?
And has this been a reoccurring theme since then? Has it,
Since
Like,
I've
is it-
been on, yes, but
Okay.
I've only been here since 2020, but out of
It's not always.
our delinquents have been going back since 2011.
Well,
so
you
it
know,
probably goes through
Yeah.
a rough patch, then catches up, pays, rough patch, is that like, it'll be good for a little while, then it doesn't, or is it?
it's bad, bad, bad?
It's
Okay.
almost always bad. Yeah. For,
See,
I'd
I need
say-
to see it so I
Yeah.
can kind of,
For almost a solid, at least running 12 months, I think, it was maybe 3 months I didn't hear from her.
yeah, because there are, I bet you there are residents in this district that don't pay a month and they get shut off, or 2 months and they get shut, so, we have to be fair to everybody and follow, we're all equals here in this district and we
She's
treat
come to
everybody
me
the same.
before too with personal matters, and that's part of the reason why I've encouraged her to come to the board of, my water heater broke, well, we worked on a reimbursement for that, y'all approved it actually for one of the issues. I think there's been multiple occasions of I've lost my job, I have kids, so we try to do our best to not, completely just be like, screw it, you just gotta pay. We've tried to work with her, we've tried to offer her options, like I said, she's gotten to the point where she's given us bad checks, they've bounced, so she was turned off from being allowed to accept check payments any further because it's part of the protocol. But yes, I'll build you a folder, I'll put you all of the correspondence I have, and you guys can review it. It goes back for at least to 2020, 2021.
Cole, do you have any suggestions on how we deal with something like this?
The rate order is the rate order. Typically, if a resident has an issue, whether they need to get a payment plan or need to request an extension or whatever the circumstances might be, they're encouraged to come to the board and ask the board for, an extension or a grant. I have plenty of boards who will grant them, and I have plenty of boards who don't grant those. If it's a repeat or repeat offender, as people would like to call them, they typically don't get their request granted. A lot of times they'll come in and say, I've been late, can I have my, the fee for late payment waived? Oftentimes there's a valid reason, the board says, okay, we'll grant you a one-time waiver. We'll come back the next month, can I get the fee paid? No, you've already come in once, our policy is to grant it one time, you need to be on time. My view is you have a rate order for a reason and you stick to the rate order. And so that's, every case is different, and I would recommend just having, Mackenzie put together the file you can look at and maybe trying to encourage the resident to come in, because it sounds like she will be cut off and left off until she can make payments.
She always ends up making payments, so that, at least that does take place, but it's just a lot of
Just has to
rigmarole
find
back
it.
and forth. Okay, so we'll move on. Just as a FYI, and I just put this here as a note, we're getting to that point where we're seeing beehives in meter boxes, so just be careful around your meter boxes. We did have to have one removed last month. This is the time of year where bees like to congregate in meter boxes, and I think the one we removed was pretty large.
On the invoice, there was no address to where that was
We have
located?
We have a work order, I think, for it.
Okay.
We can get you an address. I don't think that they put an address on their invoice. I'm not sure why, but we have a work order for it. So what happens is the tech goes out to do meter reading, and if he lifts it and goes, he just leaves it, notates it, and we come back.
I don't blame him.
This one, I think, typically they usually send a picture or two. This one, the whole meter box lid had cone coming off of it.
But it takes some time to build up.
Not that long.
Really?
Not if you get a queen and then a hive, it's over in less than 2 days. They can build a whole hive.
Interesting.
But just as a FYI, I put that on here because some people like to know that just be careful around your meter boxes. We are getting ready to do the pond inspections, their annual pond inspections with Travis County. She came out this month, but she didn't give us any notice. And the tech went to meet with her, but she'd already moved on to another pond. So we've scheduled for next Wednesday for the tech and the Travis County inspector to come out and look at the ponds. It's just the annual inspection. We don't have any reason to believe that there's any cautions that need to take place or need to be notated of. And then lastly.
Wait, before you move on, ask the tech to go look at Cashel Wood Pond. That's really high over there.
Does it need to be measured?
Yeah, before she comes and inspects. it's mushy, wet, and
I think.
cattails.
Cattails are growing.
Yep, and if it's TCEQ coming,
No, it's Travis County.
oh, Travis County, okay, because TCEQ zinged us for that last,
Travis County got you for it last year.
well, then they're gonna get us again, so it
Yeah.
needs to be whacked down.
I think that's one we've asked Scott about multiple times at this point, but.
Yeah. One more time, before these people come, he needs to go out there and
When did the new people start?
June 1st, hopefully.
Well, you have to approve, approve
You have to approve it, so it'll be likely June 17th. So you have 30 days.
I mean, Scott is with your current,
Yeah,
he could waive the 30 days.
yeah, I think he
Or
wants
can
to.
ask to waive that.
We can ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll want to.
Lastly, on my report, and it's the next page in your packet, we do administer the identity theft and protection reports on an annual basis. We had no reports this year of any identity theft that took place. This is just a letter letting you know that did happen. We do check our systems, and no incidents took place. So outside of that, I don't have anything else on here. I did include an email from Ms. Kimball that we received, that she's given us some suggestions regarding the no dumping signs not really being effective for Little Elm. I left that in here for you all to review if you want to jump on any of her ideas or anything like that. It's in here for you guys to look at. If not, no worries.
Now that the pile's out of that pond, nobody's dumping over there.
Not
That was,
Not yet.
Well, the thing is it was clear for like 32 hours before, and then somebody dumped in it.
well, it wasn't completely clear. They had left the pallets in there. There were some big logs left in there. It was like, they're not done yet. I'll go ahead and throw my brush.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's clear now, so hopefully it stays that
Yeah.
way.
And I do have just, if I may, I just have 2 questions for her.
Go ahead.
On your manager's report, your page number 4, I believe. Yes. Your assessed value is missing 2022 and 2023, and those values are now available. If you would add those,
We have
please.
them on the website, we'll get them added.
Thank you. And on your page number 18 of your report, it is the
Is it the page labeled 18?
Water Accountability Report on page 18. Those are May of 2021 numbers. If we could look at 23,
Are they 2021
Yeah.
or are they just labeled wrong?
Well,
Will you look at that next time you do it?
if you would,
They say 21.
yeah, they do say 21. That's,
It looks like it's.
we've
on
had
the-
so much rain that it looks like that's a lot of consumption with all this rain, but I could be mistaken. If you would check that,
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. Not a problem. If you always look at that and then you, so that's technically supposed to reflect the report down below. And it doesn't.
Okay,
Yeah,
what,
It would be 21s because we don't have July yet, so we need to update this. Okay.
okay, and then one last thing, and it was through the bills and invoices, and you and I talked briefly about it, the QuickBooks subscription.
Yes.
You want to go ahead and,
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last month, but I didn't address it. We've canceled the QuickBooks subscription. It's the one that y'all voted on, not this board in particular, your old board, to utilize it for deed restriction services. Obviously not having a contractor for that any longer and not processing any, it would be pointless for you to continue to pay $90 a month for a subscription. So I did cancel it for the interim. If you choose to go back to it, we can reactivate it, it's not a problem. But just as an FYI to the board, we've inactivated it. We have never issued fines out of it, it doesn't hold any records, there's no issues.
thank you, Mackenzie. I'm done.
All right, I don't have any questions, thank you. Let's move on to item 7, committee assignments and reports. Item A, so can we do this, since you are Parks Committee, I know this is Director Fabre agenda item, but let's have you introduce the Park Committees. Is there any updates, anything that you want to update the board on, and then we can move.
We're working on trying to get these trees cleaned up, and we've still got some of those issues, but yeah, we're all trying to get that done. It may not be done until we have a new crew. We can send out that letter every single day and just keep hoping that it's gonna get done. We still have the signs in there for people to be careful until all that's done. We are gonna need to talk about, trying to get somebody in there for some tree work, because we've still got a lot of branches up top.
Your land care is actually looking at, getting a proposal from an arborist. It's just gonna take some time because they're gonna have to go through and look at everything in the district to give you a proposal for sections.
There's a lot, yeah, there's a bunch. The bathrooms were up and running this weekend. That's really all that I've got going on right now. That's the biggest.
You have any questions for Mr. Jones?
I've noticed, that the doggy stations, the bags are not being filled, consistently. I've noticed a lot of them being out. I don't know, I see the caution tape that's wrapped around it with, I guess, a roll of,
Is it one of the broken ones?
but there are several in the district that have, so, you know,
Do you know where they are?
well, there's one right in this park that's out right here. There was one on El Solito that was out. I had a resident, you know, mentioned to please make sure that they're being filled.
Do we know? In stock? Yeah, we'll get them taken care of. I know that he does them as he goes around, so there's probably times where they do get empty.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the general management report.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all made that motion, did you?
Do we need to make a motion to approve it? We don't.
You don't usually do?
No.
Okay.
No, unless I
Alright.
ask them to approve something.
Okay, alright,
Yeah.
that's good.
A lot of districts do approve the general manager's report, so it's not abnormal.
Oh,
We'll get them notes, if you don't mind, if you can remember, I've got.
You want me to
my
email you the locations?
Just send me
this way?
some locations. I know he goes, basically, he just does it as he goes around in the district, so there's probably times where they
And-
do get empty.
Also,
Well, they
I've
take
seen
a
a
lot
lot of
too.
signs in the right of way down El Solito that have been, you know, just companies come, drop their sign. So,
Bandit signs,
what's that?
bandit signs, like the little sticky signs, the ones that have the sticks that go in.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll be able to take them care of. If you
Yeah.
ever come across those two, just send them over to us and we'll send the tech out to take care of it. We don't mind, I mean, obviously you can't be everywhere at once, we
Yeah.
try to get them around as much as possible.
Question on branches on El Solito Park. I'm hoping that these are not branches that are falling. But I've been around a couple of
yes.
times last week, I guess, and I've seen them kind of scattered around
Yeah.
the park, so just want to know.
You can ask them, I'm emailing these guys a lot, but we're in between people right now. And the motivation is not real high. I'm trying. They're trying.
Payment alone should be motivation enough to do your job, you know.
You would think.
So, Google reviews also work.
It's horrible right now.
Any questions, comments?
I thought about doing it
Regarding that?
myself. That's
I'm
how
gonna
much it
save those
drives me
comments for
crazy.
later. No, I've got nothing. On the Parks Committee update.
Okay, gotcha. So then we can move on to
Wait,
item.
wait.
No, she's
Oh, you
good.
said no?
Yeah. So I guess then we move to 7A. I mean, we're still in 7A, but including review and revision of park rules, Director Faber.
Yes, I did add that, and I did go ahead and publish the park rules in the board packet on agenda item 7A, park rules. These park rules need to be redone. Specifically, they don't work, and in the past, the Parks Committee was the approval authority for reservation requests. We saw with the Gavel Club, they no longer do their meetings here. They didn't qualify for a resident nonprofit, so they've moved to Cedar Park Rec Center. It has to be administered fairly, and the rules need to be written so that Stephanie and Mackenzie can follow the rules without any board involvement and know when to approve a request for a park reservation and when not to. And it needs to be laid out so it's really clear and easy. And the part that really is messing it up is section number 5, non-private events. Non-private events conflicts with the definition of a commercial user. And it becomes problematic because then Infomark has to rely on a Parks Committee to approve a reservation request. And this past weekend, or the one before, I don't know, I wasn't here, the craft fair held their event in the Anderson Mill West Park. By definition, they're a commercial enterprise. They are a pay-to-play entity. If you want to set up a booth there, you have to pay the host booth fee, and then the vendors are not necessarily from the neighborhood. They can come from anywhere, and they get to make a profit while using government land. So that is the definition under commercial use on what is required. What is the definition of a commercial user? It literally is the craft fair, but because of one little section of part of 5, 1B, small b, the word fair is used in there, but I think that was a mistake. It had to be a mistake because it's not marketing or advertising of products or service. It is actually selling goods. And when you're selling goods, you're making a profit, and that is the definition of a commercial use. So if they want to use that space to make money by selling their wares, they can. They just have to come in as a commercial user, not as a non-private event. It's disparate, and it would literally open that park to anybody who wanted to come in here and sell their personal wares in that park, especially if they lived here. One person lives here, they get 60 other people who do not into the park to sell goods or services. That's a commercial user. The whole park rules needs to be reevaluated and written real clearly so that the next park committee should take on that task. I'm not suggesting the whole board. I think that a parks committee could take that task on, and it needs to be done so that our support person and our general manager know when to approve an application, and if it's unclear, then kick it back to the whole board. Committees have been using these rules to make exceptions, and that is disparate, and those are things that we should never do. Treat everybody the same. So that was why I put that on the agenda, because I was the one who chased down the Gavel Club and their application, and I did ask to see the craft fairs application, nonprofit status, all of that, and that was never given to me. I didn't get it. I understand there was a resubmitted application. It doesn't matter. It was already scheduled. It went on. It took place. I'm sure everybody loves it. I would love it. I've missed them both now. But it has to come in as a commercial user. They're making money, and they're sitting on public land to do it.
Let me ask you this question for open discussion. I went by there, and there are so many neighbors that are selling stuff.
Oh, I love the idea.
It's neighbors that live in this district that I know your wife was there, but there's so many people that use that.
Yeah,
How many people does it make for it not to be commercial?
None. If you're making money, if you're making a profit over there, then you are a commercial user. It's like the tennis instructors.
But they donate so much of it back.
It doesn't matter. They're charitable. They're charitable, but they're not a nonprofit.
They're not keeping that money. It's going,
Yeah, so what I'm hearing here, I'm not hearing Director Fabre complaining about the fact that somebody's selling and making a profit.
No.
Right? So I think that's not the issue.
That's not the
So
issue.
No, I
let's
think the
enter
issue is
into the
when
argument.
does it become commercial? When does it become residential?
Well, the
Because a lot
commercial-
of people there are residential.
No. Well, the people who visit the fair, of course.
No, that are selling items there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's commercial. The definition of commercial use, it's right here in the rules. For the purpose of this section, commercial use is defined as any class, activity, or session in which participants pay to participate and for which a profit is being made by the person or organization hosting or organizing the use.
So my question is, you're proposing that item 1B2 may be reclassified under a commercial use instead of actually non-private events?
I think the whole non-private events thing doesn't apply.
Gotcha.
And it should fall into the other categories outlined in the park rules. And it does, it neatly fits into commercial use.
Right.
And making exceptions, again, I literally steer clear of exceptions. I think we need to make rules that apply to everybody, and we don't make exceptions. We don't make exceptions to gavel clubs that aren't residents. We don't make exceptions to craft fairs because our neighbors love them. We all love them. I love them. I've missed them both. I've been out of town both times that they've happened, and I would have gone. I like them. But again, for the purpose,
Didn't you used to be involved in it, like last year or the
No.
year before?
I'm not crafty at all. I buy crafts, I don't make them. My point is this, the rules need to be such that these two ladies over here know how to apply them to a reservation, and it doesn't require a committee or a board to sort out, do they get to use it or do they not get to use it? These rules are the governing document, and they should be able to make that decision and not pass it on to a committee or to the board to make a decision unless somebody's misfilled out the paperwork.
So from an operations standpoint, I have a question for y'all. Do y'all find these rules, hard to follow? Are there...
There's a lot of places where you have to refer to different sections of the rules to make it align to get a clear understanding for a reservation. So yes, it can be hard to follow at times, and it's just because you have certain parameters in one section that actually reflect in another, but they're only listed in one section, so you wonder if they do apply elsewhere. So it does make the process a little convoluted, which is why we choose not to make the decision. We allow the committee to make the decision because they've been doing that since we've been here. So
I'm hearing that definitely there needs to be some reviews and maybe changes or amending to make it to where it's clear for y'all to make a decision based on the policy.
I think that it could use some revision, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have any comment?
Yeah, I concur. I mean, I would follow the opinion of the people who are trying to make determinations. And if they say it's convoluted and, needs clarification, then I would be in favor of reviewing that.
Any further comments or?
No, I was just gonna ask Mackenzie the same, does it, so, to me, it's not very simple for them to make the decision, so, I agree, but I think if the Parks Committee should be the one to review it, change it, and bring it to all, or to kind of review and agree as a board on to move forward with it.
And I agree with you. I think Section 5 was very confusing. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
we need to get this together. So I think, again, if we work from the people that are consistently visiting the policy and are practically out there, working closely with the committee to make those to recommend the changes, then we can vote on them as a board. I think that's a good decision.
We did work with the committee on these, and I think we all had a good intention in place. We just obviously didn't actually realize it when making them, how much we jumped back and forth to different sections, and it made it harder. So yes, I agree with you.
I think,
We worked with them
in other words,
initially.
we tried it.
I think we worked it to the point that we overworked it, because we spent at least 40 hours on those park rules together with the committee. And I just think that with doing that, making it as long as we did with the committee and working with the committee, it just needs to be scrunched back together.
And was this a first draft, just to kind of get a little bit of a history?
No, it came to the board for changes, and it went back and forth several times, so.
But I'm saying, when y'all
And
met,
Mackenzie
we didn't
helped us
have
a
actual
lot,
park
yeah.
rules like this? Or this was the first
No, there was
No.
rules prior to this. This was
Gotcha.
a revamp of what was there prior.
This
Yeah.
became the final, even though it looks like a draft. That is
Okay.
actually what's published.
Okay.
I wish
Fair enough.
there's no way for me to add comments, otherwise I would have added comments, but.
But Mackenzie, I agree, if there's still changes that we need to still do, then
I think that we need to
We need to do it.
rework it to be a lot more simplistic than what it is, because that's the problem we have is Reese goes and looks at it and she finds one section that's clear as to how she should handle something, but another section might reference a portion of that, and it's like, well, what do you go with? How do you do this? How do you go about approving this? And we don't take that under our earnest, we give that to the committee.
agree.
Right, so to have a plan, can we agree to maybe all of us review the rules and then send them to committee and you guys meet
Why
and
don't
then
y'all
we can
send
come
them
back?
to us and we can compile them and give them to the committee, that way there's no rolling core problems. That
Yeah,
way
that
y'all
makes
aren't
sense.
all
You're right.
sending
Yeah. So send them to you and then you
Yeah.
can go with committee and you know, and then we can kind of
We'll
maybe circle
compile
back.
them and address it with the committee.
Okay.
We don't need to make a motion for
No.
that. I think we
No.
can just, okay. Great. Anything else?
Are we gonna do committee assignments on that agenda item?
Yeah, you're right. On committee assignments, all right, so based on the rules that, you know, now as the new board president, it's clear that, I mean, I get to assign those. So I just want to go ahead. I think there's a lot of things that we need to work through. If, you know, I would like to have Beth, since she's been involved in parks for so long, I think to have her as a member. Kelly, I don't know how you feel about parks, working with parks. Is that something of your,
I love parks.
you do?
I mean, yes, if
Okay,
that's,
well-
if that's where you want to put me, that's fine.
I think that's a great,
I thought we were gonna vote on these.
well, as it stands, I make the decision. So I am going to appoint Director Jones for now, and then we can revisit, and we all agree to make changes. I would follow and support those, but for right now, I would like to go ahead and appoint Director Beth and Director Masters to be the members that will make up the Parks Committee.
So I have something to, when Megan was appointed president, I believe you were in favor of all of us discussing and working it out on who gets on what committee. So I kind of feel that you've kind of changed from that direction to now going through with the president appointment.
Right, no, and I have not changed my view. I think there's a lot of other things that we could do. I mean, it's very clear that there are some members that cannot work here together. So if you think I'm in agreement at this point to put you with Beth, I don't think that's a healthy decision to make, because we're not moving
You can
forward.
put me
Yeah, or
with, you know,
I'm just saying, she's been in park. I want to respect that for now. Again, if the board decides to make a change by majority vote, I will be happy to follow that and respect that. But for now, I think we need to move on, and let's just temporarily per se. But we need to have something in place.
well, you know.
I'd like to make a motion.
You're on the agenda item, so go ahead and make the motion.
I would like to move that the board, as a board, decide who sits on what committee based on their interests and what they can bring to the table. I think that is a promise that was made, and I think that's one that needs to be actually followed through. And not everybody has the time to devote to parks. Not everybody has the time to devote to bills and invoices. Not everybody understands what they're looking at. Here was something, I went too far with that motion. I literally looked at who could devote the time and who has the interest. These are my opinions, and if the board would agree that this is a way to seat a committee, we'll get more done that way. And just because Beth has been on the Parks Committee for a long time, that's almost even a better reason to bring fresh ideas into that committee. There's plenty enough work for everybody to do. Where your strengths are is the committee you should be on. Not everything that was a committee needs to be a committee. I mean, that's really where we are. That's why it's on the agenda, so that we can do it better than it was done before. And that is my motion, is that the board decide who sits on each committee by vote.
I have a motion by Bob that the board votes on committee members as a full board and not undergo an appointment process.
Yes.
So that motion would need a second.
Second.
We have a second. So let's open this for discussion. Director Jones.
I'm going to be very honest, which I have said before. There are other reasons why certain people shouldn't be on certain committees right now. And there's stuff that's online right now that we just cannot put people on a committee where someone is going to feel threatened in a certain area. Any resident, any children, nothing. That's where I'm going to stand for now. I think that the president should make these decisions. He knows what's best right now. This is not something that's permanent. This is something for right now, and that is what he said. And so it's always been the president that's made that decision of what committee they go on. He knows where that person needs to go, where they should be, and I think that's how it should. This MUD has been here for I don't know how many years, and that's how it's always been decided. And I believe that right now, for our residents, for this board, that's how it should say. That's what I have to say.
Director Flores.
I like the idea. I've always been a favor of making it all of us decide what goes on in this district. To say something has been done since the inception of this or for X amount of years, we're in the position that we can change all that. We don't have to follow what was done in the past. We have the ability to change the future, and to keep doing the same thing over and over again and it doesn't improve. To me, it just doesn't, it's time for change. We have that ability to change it. So I have a background in golf course management. I am constantly in our parks, following them. I take pictures of everything to prove that things haven't been done. And since things haven't been done and haven't been watched over by past Parks Committee, it shows me that they're not doing the job, and I believe I can do the job a whole lot better than it has been done.
Well, here's my view on this. I believe it shouldn't be to one person, right? And I'm not in any way, shape, or form I'm changing my mind on this. I think we need more people involved to decide really who should serve in committee. My concern is a matter as to when we make that decision and when do we apply. So are we ready as a board to do that? My other concern is that our current standing policy only allows sitting members of the board to be part of advisory committee. I would like to stand that. I think there are people in our community that have knowledge in parks, they have knowledge in finances. I bet we have some retired accountants that would love to serve in committees like that. So I would like to extend that option. My concern is the moment in time that we're in, are we able to move on to this phase of all of us making a decision? And that's where I'm at. And I'm afraid to say that we're not, but who am I to say that things can't work differently? But that's where I'm standing right now. I think we, do things effectively. If I can assign this temporarily until we get some policy in place to how do we do it well? How do we form committees that are going to help us form this district and put us at a better place. That's all I have. Director Potter.
I agree. I think inviting the residents in this community to participate in committees is the most brilliant idea, and I would love it to start with parks. And we even have a volunteer in Hunter's Glen who so desperately wants to be involved. And he's good. He's really good at it. So I'm 100% in favor of that. I do not believe that the way it's always been done is the way to proceed. We are at a precipice, an opportunity to make a change to how things have always been done. That has proven to not be successful. So I really want to see a board consensus. It doesn't even need to be a motion and a vote, a board consensus on who should be involved at the committee level and what that committee is expected to do. Because there is just so much misunderstanding on the roles of a committee, and committees, Parks is a fine example, has literally taken the role of making decisions, and that can't happen in the committee level. As a matter of fact, in the Open Meetings Handbook, it says, subcommittees actually made, or if a government body that has established an advisory committee routinely adopts or rubber stamps the advisory committee's recommendation, the committee will probably be considered a governmental body subject to the act, which means they have to give notice and they have to have a public meeting to hold their business. So rather than get into that situation, I'd really like it to be committee advisory only, and I would like people who can contribute to that to have an opportunity to sit on these committees. I respect what you're saying about getting along. That's not an option when you're a member of this board. You either get along and work with others, or you don't participate in the committee. I don't think we need to be shuffling things around that way. You got to work with who you're assigned to work with. If you're not comfortable with that, then you don't have to take the assignment on the committee. It's that simple. But
you have to protect the neighbors.
So we have definition. The Parks Committee is responsible for parks and public spaces. They're responsible for making sure the district landscaping contractor is actually doing their job. McKinsey's number one in that role, but somebody who lives here, who goes through the parks and through the ponds, is going to be able to notify her when the Anderson Mill median's not mowed, or the Cashel Wood Pond has cattails that are taller than me. That's what a Parks Committee person would be doing. And David has he has been doing that for the last 4 years. He wants to be on the Parks Committee, and there is no reason in the world why he shouldn't be. He would be an asset for that. And therefore, if you're worried about get along, then we need to do it as a board so that everybody has an opportunity to serve in the areas where they bring strength.
And I want you to understand that for now, that's your opinion.
This is my opinion.
Okay, good. So, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to start by saying I see both sides. It would be wonderful to have everyone be able to go where their strengths lie. And I feel like, I know you really have the best interest of the district, and that's, you've put some thought into this, right? You put some thought into the assignments beforehand, and so what if I had said, no, I don't want to be on parks?
So you're asking me the question?
Yes.
I would have to probably, for the moment, not assign somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and would that be your approach for every committee?
That would not be my approach for every committee. I think I've clearly stated that I am for a more collective way of making a decision and assigning a committee. Again, my concern in the moment in time, right now, interaction of certain directors, that is, that's why I'm making this decision. But go ahead. But I'm following you, so.
Okay. Yeah, I think with the current, the history of the board as it has been and the current composition of the board, that some decisions need to be made at the executive level for now. And so I would not say a majority vote at this time, although we're the board and we can change things whenever we want to.
So you're saying not a majority vote?
Not a majority vote at this time, simply due to the current environment, but that we are the board, we can put it on the agenda and make a motion at any time to reconstitute the committees.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I agree with you. This shouldn't be a, just because we work right together, right? In order for democracy to work, we need to have opposing opinions, and we got to agree to disagree, right? I personally think it shouldn't be just the president appointing people and deciding who's going to serve. I don't think it's healthy for the district, okay? So if we can agree, and I appreciate you seeing that side as well, if we can agree to maybe hash out policies, our current policy, maybe amending to where we can invite other members of the public and then making it a collective decision, I'll be happy to try that maybe in the next meeting. But we need to have somebody in parks to work through the rules. Right now we don't. So we either make a decision now, or we can temporarily appoint the people that are going to be serving and make those decisions, for example, like park rules, but we got to make a decision.
I just wanted to give two brief comments. One, the resolution or the policy that that the board has adopted in the past regarding committees, is that each district committee should be comprised of 2 members. So that's one thing. So in no case should there ever be 1 member, it's 2. All the committees are advisory in nature only. So a committee can give advice to the board, but the board has to approve or make the recommendation. So a committee cannot act on its own to bind the district or any directors on any action. So any committee work would go to the board for full approval. Of course, boards can adopt resolutions stating we give the committee the authority to spend up to $5,000 on X, Y, and Z, or they can create those policies, but the board, full board, would need to adopt a resolution stating such. It needs to be clearly specified. And really, the only other item, and again, also in this policy, is it is limited to board members, board directors. So that is what the policy is right now. If you wanted to open it up to invite residents, which right now the only potential issue I could see is if a committee had confidential and or private information that could not be disclosed, or if there is potential litigation or something that is attorney-client privilege, you would not want to have a resident on that committee viewing those. And so if you did have a resident on a committee, you might also want to have, maybe McKinsey or throw another board member on as a quote-unquote alternate member in the cases where if there was something confidential in nature or something that needed to stay within the directors, that's executive, you all would be able to have 2 directors looking at that.
Cole, we have a Parks Committee. Right?
No, I know, you have a lot, you all have a lot of committees. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying we have a Parks Committee that involves residents.
Okay, that's great. I don't see anything in the Parks Committee that would be confidential or anything that would violate the law.
I've reviewed the policies and we talked over the phone. So the way that the rules stand at the moment is we can't invite somebody from the public to serve in a committee.
Yeah, we have a few already that we actually voted for last year for that to
park
happen.
plan, that's done.
Well, that's a park plan, but the rules clearly state that
Yeah.
only board members can serve
Yes.
as committee. So
That was an
That's a-
exception for the park
Got
But
that.
plan.
for
that's
the
a
park.
5-year park plan, so they still have 4 more years.
right.
The park, it's done. It's
You made
adopted.
the plan for 5 years.
Yeah.
You had the committee, they said, okay, this is the park plan, and that's the
And
plan.
then we have all
And
those
so-
things to keep putting out there.
Okay.
So here, I mean, if you're willing to amend your motion to where, at least for this meeting, that we can amend the policy to include other members of the public, I think we can kind of walking towards what we're envisioning for the district.
That would be a change to the rules. That would be a separate item. But I'm happy to do it, but
Right.
am I right, Cole? It's a separate item.
I think the motion on the floor right now is that the full board votes on committee members of the full board. I think that should be the first motion that you all decide, and then.
I just have a comment.
Step two.
I'm a little confused on the issue of certain directors working together. I hear vague things.
Well,
And I'm not getting specifics on exactly why certain members of this board cannot work with another person of this board. I hear safety, I hear this, but there's no specifics, and there's nothing that you can show me that would say Linda cannot work with Hanoi, or, there's nothing, there's no evidence or anything stating that that's an issue. I just don't see it, and it's not very clear to me on why exactly I want to be on parks, man. It's
Can we
something that
bring it up at the next meeting?
I think that's
dire to me, that, I'm passionate about the parks. I'm, passionate about the trees in the park and everything about it. It's just, it's in my heart to,
And I hear you.
So,
I'm
so
not.
for me to be punished, I feel like I'm being punished because one person, Beth, cannot work with me.
That's not why.
Let him.
This is how I feel, okay? That because I feel that you have an issue with me, you cannot work with me, and you have to be on parks, and I cannot work with you. That's how I feel.
Can I
So
speak?
that's the Bible.
Okay, I'm gonna say that I'm asking for you not to be on parks because I'm trying to protect the people in the parks. When we had Parks Committee meeting and the police had to be called because you put cameras in front of their face and you violated it, and we had police officers come. When I know, or we all know, that you can be somewhere where these people are not having to call police anymore, that would be different. So my job right now is to protect the people in the parks that they feel comfortable going there.
I'd like to make a statement.
So, what I don't.
And if
what
I can bring the police report at the next meeting if we need to.
We have a copy.
We have the video of the police officers.
All right, no comment for, no
It's not that
public
he
comment.
wasn't
Excuse me.
charged, that someone felt threatened.
Okay.
So,
Can we not
so
Not me, other people.
So how does that, if it's two members working together, how does the safety of the residents, how does that affect the safety of residents? Explain that to me, how that affects the
Well,
safety of residents.
here's the way I'm gonna put it. It is clear to me that y'all you two cannot sit down in a room and agree on policies relating park rules. I mean, I've received complaints from both parts, serious complaints. So that's all I have to say.
So because Beth cannot work with me.
No, you can't.
I can work with
I think there are issues both ways.
Simple solution. It's my turn. Simple solution. This is a real simple solution. Put Beth on something else. She doesn't need to work on parks. There's no continuity to bring forward in parks. Everything is documented. They have a starting point. Make it fresh.
He's a new incoming director. I don't think that's.
He has been active in this mud for over 4
He was
years.
elected in
Longer
November.
than anybody else, except me, sitting up here. He has come to every meeting. He has participated in every event. Yes, that's not a fair statement. That's not a fair statement. He does know what's going on. He does pay attention, and he has been actively involved.
I have
Now,
not stated otherwise. All I've
I'm
said that
saying-
she has been sitting on the board for a lot longer. That's all I'm saying.
that doesn't make her a better expert
No,
or more
that's your- no,
qualified
you're
to
reading
work
into
in the Parks
my
Committee.
statement.
The Parks Committee has demonstrably made exceptions and demonstrably not followed their own rules and not done, I mean, so much has fallen by the wayside with parks. It could benefit from fresh faces, new ideas. And what would be the harm? What would be the harm? Let's try it for a month. Put David and Kelly together as a team in the parks to rewrite the rules. They're intelligent people, they can figure that out and see how that works.
Unless the rules are not changed tonight, I am not going to do that. I'm going to point what I've mentioned, and then we can, when we change the rule, and I'm hoping that we have more than 2 directors, we can also have members of the public to balance decision, then I think at that point, I'm all for us participating in the election of committees.
Hanoi, I want to ask David a question.
Let's give her some time.
Well, because Kelly doesn't know. David,
give
why
her
did
some,
you walk out
let's-
of every park meeting?
Let
that
me
you
have
ever had?
her talk first, and then you can talk. Go ahead. If you like to talk.
No, I don't have anything new to bring. I'm happy to serve on parks with David, and I'm happy to serve on parks with Beth. But given the current climate, I do think that Hanoi has the best interest of the district, and to get us past this point in time, I think it's for the best that he appoint the members of the committees.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the table. We have a second, so let's move on to vote. Okay, so all in favor? No. Okay, so restate your motion again. Just want to make sure it's for the record.
Can you read it back?
Motion that the board votes on committee members as a full board and not undergo an appointment process.
Gotcha. All right. So, yeah, I'm not in favor of that for the moment.
I still would like to ask David the question again.
We're past that, so we're not
But
gonna.
it's important if he wants to be on parks.
So
why
now
he walk
you need to
out?
finish the
How's
vote.
that collect the votes? Are you a yay or a nay?
Oh, I'm a nay.
And Kelly?
Nay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so moving on, we're gonna go ahead and appoint Kelly and Beth to work together in parks. We're gonna do deed restrictions committee. We're gonna appoint Beth. Well, let's finish with park first, then we can move into the restriction. We can do the appointment for as we go down. So we're done, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good,
park.
sorry. So moving on to item 7B, right?
That's
So-
the only committee you're doing?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna do appointment, then we're gonna, let's talk about B, and then we can do the committee assignment as we go down the list. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, I would like to move agenda item 9A together with 7B, since I've reported this incident to Beth, the director. Beth, and let's just do it together. So since you're right now leading that committee, can you go ahead and give us an update, an overall update on these?
The biggest thing we have right now is we've got, I need to upload everything so that everybody is aware of what's happening. We have several people that are complaining about lawn issues, about things that are being mowed, or, cars. Those are the biggest. And then, of course, we've got your street, which is a huge issue with a lot of people right now. And those are the cars being painted in someone's garage. You've got 7 cars on the street. You've got a cul-de-sac. He's running a business out of his home. That's probably the biggest concern that we have right now that we need to address on deeds. And we need to get that RFP out. Another key one that got to get done. We had it approved, we had it ready to go. We pulled it because we didn't have an attorney. So the biggest thing that we can do right now is make sure that that gets out. So those are the things that we need to talk about with deeds.
All right, do we have any questions or comments on the deed committee report?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people is not descriptive to me. I've seen one complaint since Sage Management terminated their contract with this district. One complaint, and it wasn't a deed violation. It was a lady who said that the district looks horrendous. That's not a violation of the deed. I have looked at the documents for your 9B, the activities on Blazing Star. I am not seeing any evidence of spray painting, any evidence of jackhammering, any audio of noise nuisances. I read your email that claims these things, but I'm not witnessing that. Also, the deed does not prohibit running a business out of your home. That's not prohibited by Section 3's deed. What is prohibited is parking unregistered cars on the street. None of your photos had that demonstrated. I did drive by this morning and I captured one unregistered vehicle left on the street. You can see it's 22. That is a violation of the deed. Everything else is definitely not something that you would want going on, but it doesn't raise to the level of being in violation of the deed. If you can show me where in Section 3 it says you can't run a business out of your home, I'll reconsider. Again, you have to have evidence of these things, not just photographs. He can repair all the cars he wants in his garage. He can do minor repairs on his driveway or even in the street. And I can't tell from these photos what's major, what's minor. None of these cars are being painted. The only equipment I saw was a power washer. So again, I heard the lady. I actually have driven by many times and I saw 3 cars lined up on the side going into that cul-de-sac. They're all moved. There's only one left as of today. It's this silver one right here, this SUV of some flavor. That. No license plate and it's expired. And there is a quick solution for that, and that's a call to the sheriff, and he'll orange tag that car, and in a couple of days he'll come back and tow it.
Okay,
So again, if we're gonna do something with this address and try to help this problem, we need evidence of a violation, and you need to show me where in Section 3 they're not allowed to do that. Also, these are renters that just moved in December, and odds are real good they don't even know that there's a deed that governs this property. Has anyone talked to these people?
So here's the situation. So I got it. I haven't presented that part of the deed restrictions committee. I just wanted feedback on her comments regarding her update on committee. So
yeah, you put 7 and 9 together.
Yes, but I just kind of want to follow the process. Do you have any comments or questions in relations to Beth's report of deed restriction committee before I go and present on 9A?
No, I do think it would be helpful to be able to quantify and have concrete complaints rather than just general allegations. Can you?
Yeah, I will present that.
Upload?
No, for the rest.
For the rest,
Not yours.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's got it.
You said, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to present on Blazing Star, but I mean, I don't know. Have you uploaded anything on yours reports?
No, just everything that you've sent me and what's been sent.
No, we're talking about other than the Blazing Star. All these complaints that you're receiving.
I have a few on people's lawns that I'll upload those, but yes.
Yeah, we need to see all the complaints you're receiving.
I know,
So
and I
that,
just said in the very beginning that I would upload those
Yeah.
this week.
okay.
Okay.
I haven't spoken on.
Oh, I
Beth.
apologize, go ahead.
I, so you mentioned mowing, so you'll get those uploaded. Okay, I appreciate that. And you stated my street. You know, do we have evidence, pictures, or any of that of what you're claiming on my street?
All I know is that someone just said that there's a director that's violating it also, she did not.
I can't hear you.
asked for
I
pictures.
I can't hear you.
I asked for pictures and they have not sent them.
I didn't hear what you started with.
He asked me if there was anything that we have that can show what the issues are, and all that I have are emails. So,
I believe last meeting we asked for you to compile a folder of all the emails that you
that's what
have
I'm
received.
working on.
So,
Yes.
okay, still working on it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going all the way back,
All the way back to when?
several months. So that's what I'm pulling together.
Since Sage no longer was in the picture. That's it.
Right, thank you. All right, so I'm going to move on to report on 9A regarding the deed restriction violation, what appears to be a violation. So it has been brought up to my attention by multiple residents. I guess we've heard one of the residents come to complain today. By the way, she lives right next to that resident of the district. That the resident, at the address that's uploaded there, has created a nuisance in accordance with the current standing deed restrictions, and that he is in current violation of the same. Again, based on reports from residents, right? Due to the fact that they have been operating a body shop from his car garage. I have seen it myself. I have to drive through that house every day. I live on Blazing Star Trail. So, however, so I read the deed restriction. I've uploaded the deed restriction for that specific section. Item A on the deed restriction clearly states that the lot shall be used solely for private single-family resident purposes. Now, if we look through that series of pictures, we see almost daily cars coming in and out of there. If you look at the car, and this is within one span of, I think, 1 week, you can kind of see that one of the cars there, it's actually ready to be painted. You can see being prepared in the garage, and you see a series of different cars within 1 week. And so the facts indicate, as you can see in the picture, that current residents are using their residence to operate what seems to me and others' neighbor as a body shop. Attached, you'll see a few pictures demonstrating their commercial operation. I myself have witnessed large commercial trucks delivering what seems to me to be a series of salvage vehicles that are being parked on the driveway and side of the street without vehicle registration, as you were able to find one of them. Number 2 is violation of paragraph H, hazardous activities. And it clearly states that no activity may be conducted on the property which are or might be unsafe or hazardous to any person or property. As you will also appreciate in some of the pictures uploaded to the drive, the residents are painting cars in their car garage. You can see that one of the cars have been primed, has primer. And so some neighbors have witnessed painting both inside and outside using commercial paint sprayers. I've seen it myself doing it with compressors to apply paint and primer without any kind of protection or filtration system. Some neighbors are now becoming concerned with EPA violation. You name it. The paint fumes may also cause damages to others property as paint particles travel through the air and tend to stick to others' property. Now, as to noises, item L and M, I have multiple neighbors reach out to me regarding violation of item L and M. The resident have witnessed using impact drills, air compressors. As you can see, some of these cars are, they've been taken apart. Are pressurized tools and jackhammers that are emitting loud noises throughout the day until late in the afternoon. The neighbor next to me also has complained about that. Based on the urgency of the situation here presented and the absence of deed enforcement contractor in the district who is able to help us enforce the deed restrictions in the district, I hereby submit the following motion. So I have a motion to make. That the district attorney send the resident at Blazing Star Trail a cease and desist demand letter asking them to stop the aforementioned ongoing violations, and that we immediately post our current standing RFP for a deed enforcement contractor upon a legal revision of the same by our general counsel. We can't send Beth out to, because she's the only serving member in the committee, to handle the situation. We need to put something in place, not only to prevent this problem that we're having at Blazing Star, but other problems as well.
We shouldn't have any board members going there. That's what we have.
Well, because we don't have an enforcement.
Yes, that's what we have an enforcement crew for. That's what we need to get out so we can get them hired.
My concern is, what are we putting in place to deal with situations like this? And by the way, the resident sent me 2 pictures with 2 new cars that I'll be happy to upload that are there right now. So it's ongoing, and to the point where when you have 8 cars parked, obstructing traffic, people are complaining. So, and this is just one example, right? So of the issues that we're having. So, just bringing this up, see if we can do something about it. I know these kind of things have always been looked at from a committee. At a committee
Do you want to
level,
make a motion for that
wanna,
so that we can?
He already did.
Yeah, I've already made the motion.
Then you want a second on that?
So, do I have a second on the motion?
Yes.
So I'm clear, the
I will
motion is
second
for Coach Rose to send a cease and desist letter to the Blazing Star House, and that the RFP after review be posted or posted for public review as soon as practicable.
It's
Correct.
been reviewed.
And is the RFP that has been reviewed by,
Well, we haven't reviewed it because we still had questions from some directors, and so at the last month's meeting, the directors were supposed to all review it and then discuss it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, our current standing RFP, so that you as the general counsel review it, and so that we can post it, and that's what I'm.
Can you separate your motion?
Separate the motion.
You've got 2 motions there. Can you do one motion at a time?
Okay, yep, I can do that. So my
Start with the
motion is that the
9B one.
district attorney sends the resident at Blazing Star Trail a cease and desist demand letter asking them to stop for the reasons listed, the ongoing violation, that we immediately that's part 1. So basically send a demand letter or some notice that to make them stop.
I will second that.
Okay, so we have a second. All right, all in favor?
Discussion.
No discussion, go ahead. You want to go ahead and start this time?
Yeah, I think they're clearly running a business from their home, but lots of people are these days. And that is fine as long as you don't annoy your neighbors. And I always say the golden rule is do not annoy your neighbors. And I think it's clear that their activities have progressed to under L for the noise you were talking about and M for the nuisance. And I think this is an appropriate time to tell them to cease and desist that activity because they're bothering their neighbors.
Okay. Director Popper.
I want to bring to your attention that single-family resident in the deed is a land use designator, not what you're doing with the property. It means that you cannot build a duplex on that property. You can't build an apartment on that property. You can only build a single-family residential home on that property. That's a land use designator. You can find that everywhere. You look at every deed. That has been hashed out to death with Bill Flickinger. That's what it is, land use. Not what you do inside the home, that's what it's for. Running businesses out of your home, that's happening all over the place. If it becomes a nuisance, yes, there needs to be an intervention. One of the benefits of a MUD is that you have direct access to your local officials, and in turn, your local officials should be able to comfortably knock on that door and say, hey, do you realize that what you're doing is annoying your neighbors? Here is a copy of the deed for this property, and you can't do that or suffer litigation if they choose to do that against you. This is a renter that has been there since December of 2022. I looked at Sage reports for December and January and February. One photo of that unregistered car. That's all they ever picked up. All the other activity was never reported by Sage. And I'm making an assumption they've been doing it since they moved in, or is this new activity on this property?
No, this is recent.
So they just
Within the
recently
past-
started doing this?
Within the past 3 weeks.
They just recently started doing this business?
Yes.
And nobody's talked to them?
Nobody has talked to them, but as
So-
far as I know. I have not talked to
You
them
have not?
directly. Yeah.
Okay, and you're their neighbor?
Yeah, I'm on their street.
Yeah, so, I mean, before we ask for a legal action of a cease and desist letter, don't you think that it would be a neighborly thing to do to go talk to them and say, hey, you might not be aware, but your doing this is not allowed here because your neighbors are all impacted by what you're doing. And the deed prohibits that. And see what you get. They may just not know. That is one of the benefits of a MUD versus a city. In a city, your attorney would send a letter. In a MUD, there are neighbors. We're supposed to be able to appeal to them and talk to them. And if they tell you, look, I'm going to do it anyways, the absolute next thing to do is not just a cease and desist letter, but if you don't cease and desist, we will proceed with litigation.
You done?
I am.
Okay. Director Flores.
I agree with Linda that somebody should be talking to them before we get into spending money on legal to send this letter. Has the landlord, do we know who the landlord is and do we have a contact for them? Reach out to the landlord, because to me, if I'm the owner of the house, I'm renting my house out, it's my responsibility to make sure that my tenant is following the rules. Now, did the landlord ever tell the tenant, look, these are the rules that go with this property? So I think we're jumping to ahead a little bit, because I'm willing to talk to anybody. I've campaigned this whole neighborhood and I've talked to so many people, and maybe they just moved in, but I don't have a problem talking to anybody and just letting them know, hey, this is what's going on. This is, you are a topic of conversation in our local government here, and are you aware? I was like, I don't want anybody to go through litigation. If we can talk and say, hey, if you want to go that route, the MUD will go that route, but to not have anybody waste money, because they're gonna need to defend themselves, they're gonna need a lawyer, and to avoid that.
And I'm not saying go into litigation, I'm just saying
No,
it's informed.
I got you, but what would be the next step if they don't? Would be litigation, or of course, you know, of the courts deciding. So to me, it really, I'm okay with going to talk to them and bringing to them and having a civil conversation. Because I feel that with a civil conversation, adults can hash this out and get this problem resolved. I know the complainants as well. You know, I feel for them that, you know, they endured a nuisance. I understand that, and I sympathize for them. But we have to be civil and give the opportunity to have that discussion with them, and not just use our muscle to intimidate. You know, I just feel that that's what's been done in the past, and I'm all for a different approach, a more civil approach, more neighborly approach. You know, because we're here to work for the residents, all of them, even him being in violation, we're here to serve him as well. So are we serving him? Or are we doing the right thing by him as well? You know, I get he's violating, you know, he may be in violation, I get it, but he does have the right for us to help him out as well. You know, I look back, you know, the evidence, is there enough evidence there? Is there video of them? You know, pictures are hard to determine what's going on. I think video, if we had video of it, I'm a big fan of video, it doesn't lie. It shows what is there. I'm a car enthusiast myself. I plan on painting my car. So do I have to be cautious of painting my car in my garage when the time comes? Or so to me, I can see how maybe it's a hobby for them. I don't know. Is there proof of financial money being exchanged? I don't see that. So how do I know it is for business? How do I know it's not for his cousin just doing him a favor? I don't know. But I think the next step would be to have a conversation with this resident and just approach them in a civil manner, a neighborly manner, and go forward that way. Thank you.
Okay. I think that with the fumes that I know that, you know, that we've discussed, and with what the neighbors are concerned about, with the noise, with the nuisance, I do, you know, if we want to ask them to please stop doing this because they don't understand it, I think that we give them 5 days. I mean, that allows them to finish what they have in their garage, right? I don't think that the cars on the road should be there anymore. They may have to tell the people that they have to return, you know, it's gonna have to go to somebody else. Right? So we just can't have this happen here. That's not how things work. You show them what it is, take them a piece of paper of it, show them what it says in there. I do think that if we do 5 days, it's still not resolved, we can make the agreement tonight, that we can make the motion, that if with 5 days it's still there, you send the pictures, send it to Cole, then Cole sends the letter out. That way, your neighbors and you and everybody and the person that lives there has been given a few days to get it out of there. If you want to do 4 days, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. You know, if you do it until Monday morning, you would like it to be gone, or this is what's going to happen, you will receive a letter.
All right, so I have a question for our council. And I hear you, and I hear you as well. I don't want them to receive a demand letter and, you know, be shocked by it. Well, I'm getting sued, right? We don't want that. We don't want to portray that. Now, I think it's important that we are also listening to the neighbors that have been affected, right? I personally do not feel comfortable because my position, I don't want to be portrayed as, you know, I think there's some conflict of interest. And again, I get both of you. It's fine. You can go and talk to a resident. I don't want to be engaged in that. I don't want to be involved in that. I'd rather allow the contractors in place to do that. We don't have the person or the body to do that. So I think the only resource that we have right now is our attorney.
I agree with that too.
Unless, you know.
I'm willing to
but-
go knock a door. I'm not afraid.
That's not what the board's job is.
Well,
Well, here's the situation. You know, we ought to notify them for what is happening. You know, if a demand letter sounds too strong, we can reconsider it, but they need to be notified and it needs to be stopped, you know. Now, so that's why my concern is, you know, what if an event like this happens tomorrow from another resident, right? I mean, who's gonna do that? Are you gonna go to the
I will
next town and do it?
absolutely do it.
Well, great for you.
I have no issue doing that. If
I
it
have a
is,
10-hour job, I cannot do
I
that.
understand that. I don't, and I am more than willing to do that. If it is unsuccessful, I agree with Beth. Yes, if I would be unsuccessful, they refuse to cooperate. Step 2, Cole writes a demand letter. That is a legal action, and that is only after a neighborly action has failed. Again, I don't know that this can be successful. When I drove by today, there was one car on the street, that's it. I don't know, maybe they got wind.
Yeah, I live on that street.
Okay, maybe
And
they
I
got,
communicate with my neighbors.
They-
I can get you videos if you want videos as well.
I don't need that
But
for the
anyhow,
start.
I'm just telling you, we need to communicate. Let's move on do we have a second for the motion? We've done all the discussion. We've got to do
Second
something
it.
about it.
I will second it.
Is the motion the original motion, or are you going to revise your motion?
I am willing even to revise the motion. If a demand letter sounds too strong, I mean, I'm just saying we need to notify.
I think a demand letter first step is too much. I think we need to try the neighborly approach first. I'm willing to knock that door, take a copy of the deed, explain the concerns of the neighbors, give them an opportunity to do the right thing. If they don't in 7 days, that's fair, 7 days, then the motion could follow with Cole sends a demand letter.
Okay, I think Kelly has another view on that.
If the issue is that a demand letter right off the bat is too strong, Cole could write just a notification letter. But I do think it's important to have a paper trail on this. Door knocking can be great in theory, but there can be personal safety risks. And I know we're all neighbors, but a lot of people, and I encounter this in my other life, a lot of people react very badly to being told you're doing it wrong, you're breaking the rules, and you might be lucky if you get the door slammed in your face. So I think it's important for the district to have a paper trail on this. We can write a friendly letter.
Okay.
We can write a friendly letter from the attorney to say, we've received many complaints, and the board believes this rises to the level of a nuisance, and we request that you, cease this activity within 7 days. I mean, that doesn't have to be an implied threat, it can just be a notification.
How do you feel about it being 7 more days, just because of the fumes and stuff? That's my biggest.
I like Kelly view on make it a friendly notification.
With a copy of the deed.
Yeah, with a copy of the deed, sure.
Oh, yeah, it has to have that.
I would highlight the section so it's, they don't have to read through everything. They
Right.
know exactly what we're stating, what you think is.
It'd be the nuisance, and the unregistered vehicles, because single,
Noise.
yeah, that's in the nuisance. Or is that a separate?
Fumes, noise, nuisance is what I've been reading.
So,
And the large commercial trucks, which they're not supposed to be in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
either.
noise is L, nuisance is N.
so legally, would that be a notification?
It'd be their first friendly letter.
Well, that's kind of the,
Yeah, well, my philosophy on matters like this is always to approach it friendly first. Having an attorney send a demand letter, or you like to call nasty grams, are kind of harsh to receive, especially if you're unaware of the circumstances. I can draft a short, friendly letter from the board of directors just stating, we've been made aware of this problem. I'll send the letter to you all for review, and then we can send that letter via certified mail to the resident. That way we'll get proof back that it was actually delivered and received. And we're happy to do that.
Can you send it to the resident and the property owner?
I'll have to look at the tax records to see if we can track down the property owner's current address. And if I can do that, then absolutely. But that, I would need to do a little bit of investigating for that.
I can get that for you.
Or yeah, if you can get that and get an address, then I can do that.
I will do that.
But yeah, that's not an issue.
Okay, so I'll resubmit the motion. I'll withdraw the first motion since we got a second, so we'll resubmit again. That the district attorney drafts and sent a letter to the residents at Blazing Star Trail, a friendly letter from the board of director that is drafted right from the board of director, asking them to stop based on the affirmations mentioned. And so
That's right.
based on violation 1, 2, and 3, should we limit only those to the noises, or
We have L and M. Get item A.
L and M, and then A and H,
You put
the
down,
hazardous activity?
I don't know about hazardous activity. You're talking about the spray painting?
Yeah, the spray painting.
Well, VOCs dissipate the minute they hit the air, so that's the only person who's got a health or safety concern is the person in the garage doing the spraying. That's the person who can be affected by spray paint. The people outside, they'll get a mild odor of it, but there's no safety issue. VOCs dissipate in the air. So you don't even need to go there.
let's not go there.
You need to.
Let's
you just
do a
need
friendly-
to.
I think L and M are the strongest.
And is that unregistered vehicle in M? Because that they
noise and
can.
nuisance.
This particular deed prohibits unregistered vehicles on the lot or on the street.
Okay.
So that is, and we have photos to demonstrate that they've had an unregistered vehicle on the street.
What I'll do
That's
is,
not really what's bothering me.
I know, but you want to use what you got. That's.
so I'll
Yes.
finish the motion and I'll explain what I'll do.
I finished the motion already.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is there a second?
I'll second it again.
Okay, so we have a second. Now, can we vote? We don't need.
I want to hear what he has to say
I
for
was just
that.
going to say, I'm going to draft a friendly letter and send it to you all for review. I know everybody, you all have lives outside of the board, so I know it might take some time. So maybe what we can do is, I'll send a letter, I'll try and send it by the end of this week. That way, maybe by the end of next week, you all can send me any comments or potential feedback to that letter. If I don't hear anything from any directors, then I'm going to say maybe next Friday or the following Monday, I'm going to send that letter via certified mail. So I just wanted to let that know, let it be known to the board. If I don't hear anything back, we'll set a firm trigger date where I can then send that letter. But I want to give you all ample time to review it and look at it and make sure it sounds friendly enough for everybody.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yep, it's good.
You might have extended the time a bit long.
I can make it sooner.
If you could get us something by the end of this week,
Yeah.
we should have a response to you by Monday. If we don't, you go on Monday.
Perfect. That works for me if that's okay with you all.
Yep.
Okay.
Moves it faster.
Great.
All right. Okay, so let's vote. All in favor?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so let's now talk about Part B of that motion, which we divided in half, which is the posting of our current standing RFP as written and as reviewed by Herb for deed enforcement contractor upon the legal revision of the same by our general counsel. So that would be the motion. Do we have a second to post the RFP? Okay, we have a second, so let's open it for discussion. And if you want to go ahead and get started.
All I'm gonna say is that when we had Sage Management here, things looked a lot prettier than it does right now. And I will do whatever we can to get this RFP out so that we can get things back in order. We have a lot of people that are not happy, even if they just say it. So, we live in a nice neighborhood, people want it to be nice. I think you're probably hearing that in Bullente Hills too. Yeah, let's get it out. That's my 2 cents.
I have a comment. My concern here is, I mean, and I get that we have two directors that, and I commend you for that. You know, the fact that you're willing to reach your neighbor and talking to them, I think, you know, that's a valid action or idea from your part. The thing is, if this event happens again, who do we send to? Like, right? Because they'll come to a director and say, hey, this is what happened. Who do I go to? You know? And so my concern is right now we don't have a plan of action as to how do we engage a new contractor that's going to be overseeing deed enforcement. And the hope that we can engage somebody that would do it equitably, which I'm 100% for that, that's going to do it consistently in a way that, you know, that's applicable according to the many deed restrictions documents that we have. And so my hope is that we can engage somebody that can do that for the district to reduce the board's involvement in that activity. And so I think it's important that we post our RFP as is, so that we can, you know, engage a contractor, and then we can amend and make the changes on the way. That's all I have. Any comments?
I don't agree with that approach to deed enforcement, as you well know. I don't believe we should be paying, and it averages about $200,000 a year in legal services and the RFP for the contractor. I don't think that we should be spending the district's money that way for a contractor to go looking for problems. I like the better approach that is used in Lakeline Oaks, and that is a complaint-driven system. Just like you took the complaint from your neighbors about this property on Blazing Star, the same would hold true for every other complaint that was worthy of an action. I don't need, and not interested in hearing from a contractor that tells me somebody's grass is too tall or their shrubs need to be trimmed. Lakeline Oaks has set up a wonderful example that we could follow, and they're an HOA. They are complaint driven. If somebody has an issue with their neighbor's implementation of the deed for their property, they can file a complaint. The management company will go take a look and validate it, and then the HOA board will decide how to address that. It isn't done by committee. No decisions are made by a contractor. The way this RFP is written, the contractor has authority to act, and I'm never going to be happy with that. I'm not giving that voice over to somebody who's a hired contractor and not an elected official. It is all of our jobs to deal with these problems as they arise. And since Sage resigned at the end of February, I have had one email, and now your complaint that you brought to the table. David, have you received any? None.
Just one email.
One email. So the problem is not massive. The problem doesn't warrant $200,000 a year. And I literally today started, and I'm not finished, but I did pull together some information to consider in making this decision. In just additional services, $24,000 was given to the last contractor to go out and check on a property, and did they fix this, and did they fix that? $24,413, $11,000 of that over the authorized limit of that committee. All of this done outside of a public meeting, all of it. Then we have the issue of all these missing letters. In a 2-year window, as I told you I would pull together, 2,579 letters gone. We paid $6,823 to produce those letters that we no longer have. This work is not complete because, of course, I'm sorry, take these. So, again, I agree with you, Hanoi. I think there are situations that warrant attention. And maybe we use Cole to come up with a draft-friendly letter that he can or we can send with the first announcement of there's a problem that needs to be addressed. But it has to be a bona fide violation of the deed. It has to rise to the level of needing attention. Everything else, we're paying somebody to bring to our attention, and then what are we going to do about that? So they wait 2 weeks to mow their grass. That is not life-threatening. That doesn't involve safety. None of it does. I don't agree with the contractor coming in here looking for problems for us to solve. I think the people in the district, just like what happened with you, if they have a concern, they need to bring it to the attention of the full board. There is no deed committee because that lends to making decisions. And again, committees don't make decisions. That has been going on for the last 3.5 years. And as a result of it, we've spent thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have cases in litigation. That's not the direction I want this MUD board to go. I want neighbors to be good neighbors. Most of them will anyways. On the rare occasion somebody's stepping out, perhaps they don't know. Maybe we do a better program of educating people about what it's like to be a good neighbor, what you can do to improve your property or how it should look, and here's where the deeds are. Jumping to a contract, we have demonstrated that contractors do not work. We've gone through 2 in the last 7 years. Both of them have failed this district and failed it miserably. I don't know why you think another one's going to come in and do something better. I just don't see that happening. What I see happening is an opportunity here to do it better.
You have a comment?
Yeah, I did take the interim between being appointed and tonight to go over the RFP. And it seems like a lot of the language in here differs from what we had briefly discussed with Cole the night that I was appointed, and making the deed committee 3 people and making that a public meeting, or I can't even remember if we were going to make it a completely separate meeting with 5 people. But there's language in this RFP that I don't agree with moving forward with. I think we could probably all agree that Lakeline Oaks is one of the most beautiful sections in the district. And I would be curious to know the cost of hiring a contractor to respond to complaints rather than looking for violations. Because to me that is more neighborly, it's more cost efficient, and yeah, that's where I am. I think a complaint-based system, and then if it was a complaint-based system, then we would actually have a record of the complaints rather than just, people are complaining. So I'm in favor of something with a paper trail and something that makes us directly accountable to the people that we serve.
So I have a question.
I didn't have anything to speak on at the moment, but some concerns got brought up with.
Sure, go ahead.
So, I think an education program is essential. People move into this district not knowing what deed restrictions are. I'm guilty of that, not knowing what the rules were to play this game. So I think educating, I see it as a welcome packet, a director welcoming, thank you for investing in our neighborhood, thank you for being here, part of our community, and bringing them the information on who we are and what we're about and what we're trying to achieve. That is something that I think is lacking. A lot of people think we're in the city of Cedar Park, and at that point, they would know that you are in a MUD district, and this is what a MUD district is. I also feel that if we had that complaint-based system, a portal on our website where you can go in and put in your violation, put in it's a section of the deed that's being violated, and have that there would be a great location for us to act on that, where it would distribute that to all the board members and we know what's going on. I also don't know where we are we enforcing the HOA's sections, or are they doing their own enforcement? So I'm still unclear as who's doing what section. I know that Lakeline Oaks does their own. I know Valente Hills does their own, but they had Sage doing it at the same time, so there's a little overlap, and I was confused about that. Hunter's Glen 1 used to enforce it, but they asked the MUD district to begin enforcing it. So it's still a little vague on what sections are the HOAs responsible for their own deed enforcement. They have the power to enforce their deed. So that's where I'm a little confused on how we're going to go about with the HOAs. And one last point. A lot of the deed, I'll say that for another next, but yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so my question is, where do we as a board think that we can change the deed enforcement and decide not to manage the deeds enforcements when, 75% of Anderson, well, no one in Anderson Mill West has a HOA. So all these people that are expecting for us to take care of these enforcements for them, which they're given when they move into their home. When they buy their home, they're given the rules and that they're in a MUD and that we have deed enforcements here. Okay, that's one. But where in the world did the 5 of us, and this is why I was voted on the board, so I'm gonna say it because that's why I was elected, was for deed enforcements. That was the one thing that I really stood for. Where in the world did the 5 of us think that we can change the deed enforcement and make the decision that, oh, we're not going to do this. We're going to let these few people on the outskirts that have an HOA, they can take care of it. But you know what? We're not going to take care of the rest of you anymore. And if you got a complaint, you got to come here. That's not what we are about. This has been in place for over 20 years. And why in the world do we think that we as a board can make that decision to get rid of that? It needs to be on the election. When we elect for new board members, it needs to be on there. Do you want to have deed enforcements? Yes or no? We as a board should not be even talking about this. Our job should be hiring people to take care of what we've been doing for years and years and years. I mean, we're going to be hurting our neighbors to say, sorry, we're not going to do this anymore. This is what we decided. No.
So just to kind of, for the record, from a legal standpoint, do we have the power to change this? If we want to go into what I'm hearing here, majority of the directors are stating that they would like to look into the possibility of a complaint system. And I'm hearing Director Jones saying, you know, we have consistently done this for 20 years. What legally, is that something that we have the authority to do?
The district has the authority to enforce deed restrictions, the district has the authority to enforce deed restrictions. You don't have the obligation to enforce deed restrictions. So oftentimes in MUDs, there are also HOAs, and the HOAs enforces deed restrictions. I understand that that's not the case here, so that's why the MUD has taken over the responsibility of enforcing deed restrictions. That's perfectly legal, that's what's been happening for 20 years, that's fine. MUD doesn't have the obligation to do so. It's a current board, so you all can vote and make decisions on how you all want to handle that moving forward. Kind of to Beth's point, if you're an elected official and you're running on a platform for, let's just say, we're talking about it for deed restriction enforcement, and you get elected, that clearly shows that there are people who support you and support that motion. I'm sure everyone here ran on some platform, whatever it was. So that does, you will have residents. So if all of a sudden you just decide to say, we're no longer going to enforce deed restrictions, you will have a lot of unhappy residents, and the board might be voted out. You might have board members who are voted in who run on the platform of, we're going to bring this back. We want to bring the enforcement back. It's a political angle to look at, but legally, I mean, it's difficult to put out an RFP and then just have one person or two people decide what's a violation and what's not. If the full board adopts a resolution, let's say you all form a deed, and I think you kind of mentioned this, last month we had this discussion. If the full board decides we want to get our deed enforcement committee back together, we're going to have 2 members on it. Okay, well right now, the way it works is that those 2 members in those committees, and every committee, are just advisory. They hear the information and then they advise the board on what they hear, and then the board makes a full decision. The full board can adopt a resolution stating, we're going to give the deed restriction committee the authority to, send, warning letter 1, 2, and 3. However, once it gets to 3, you come to the full board and we're going to discuss the issues and discuss whatever the problem is, if it's still ongoing, and then the full board can vote on what to do the next step. That's an option that you all have. You can do that. Otherwise, you can leave the committee as strictly advisory. You have a full board do it. I believe it used to be a full board, but it was separated out because of length of time. There are a lot of options. I mean, I get both sides, but I understand spending taxpayer dollars to have someone going out searching for problems. And I also understand, why not hire a management company that's separate and away from the board and from every other consultant, but it's a complaint-driven system, so residents will be able to say, hey, this is wrong, check this out, and then that enforcement committee goes and they either send the letter, the first warning letter, the second warning letter, whatever it is, however you all set it up. I understand both sides, it's just a matter on the board and how you all want to move forward with that.
So,
I have a question. Do y'all manage any district that, they work on a complaint-driven system as SAGE management, where y'all involved in any shape or form in notifying residents or about violations and stuff?
MUDS does not, but we have a CMS side, which is community management side of Mark, that strictly does HOA style stuff, just like deed restriction and HOA enforcement. So I don't personally, but I have a whole team that does in Austin.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're complaint based though. I think they all have, we act as the property management company and we receive correspondence and we basically do it based off of how the board wants them to do it. So that HOA board would dictate how we managed the system in that district.
Gotcha.
Wouldn't it be followed by what is already in place for each section that those rules were made?
The board would dictate that. So if that's what you wanted to do, you would dictate that to the company you hire.
You mean the
way the
deed restrictions are drafted?
Yeah, they're already drafted.
Yeah, those would have to be followed to the letter, to the deed. Right, so any enforcement company, whether the board decided to do it, they would have to follow the deed restrictions that are
In place.
in the real property.
Yeah, and that was when
so
the
every
homes were
single
built.
deed that's on there.
Exactly, every
Right.
single,
Antennas, garbage cans invisible in view.
that's how it's drafted right now. That's how the deed restrictions are drafted. So if
You
your
can't
management
take that
company,
away. Yeah.
if your management company is instructed to follow to the T, you could do that. Of course, I think I mentioned this a couple months ago to you all. There was a house that I represented this landowner. He built a house in a neighborhood that was constructed in the 1940s, 1950s, so it was kind of the Sears catalog brick bungalow homes. He built a craftsman style home. He got sued by his HOA because they said your home isn't in compliance with the other homes. The HOA ended up losing in court because this resident said, we are in compliance. It is within the harmony of the neighborhood, and also you can't restrict us from, building the house that we want as long as it looks good and fits in the neighborhood. That's not really what's happening here in this case, but what I'm trying to say is times do change, and so there are things that might change, board might decide we're not going to enforce this, whether it's a satellite dish on the roof or whatever it might be. That wasn't around in the 1950s or whatever these deeds were drafted. So there are things that you all can look at and decide what do we want to enforce or not.
Yeah, and I think here, I'm hearing a complaint-based system, but I'm also hearing the importance of having paper trail and having a system that shows equity, right? I'm trying to listen to all great points. The thing is, how do we have a body outside the board that's going to be able to do this in a way that helps us have some system in place? Because right now what I'm hearing, one side, no, we don't need a enforcement contractor. I'm hearing the other side, let's get into a complaint-based system. How do we come together to make something work? We also have a lot of convoluted, there's a lot of different deed restrictions. How do we inform the public about the differences, right? We have certain section of our neighborhood where majority of the residents are tenants, renters. They don't know what to report and what not to report. So I think there has to be some proactive component involved. Otherwise, people are not going to complain about something, where to complain. So we need to come up with a system and somebody that's able to sustain that system. I don't think it ought to be left to the board. We get elected, and so if we want to keep it consistent, we want to build history of how do we enforce these, we must have a body that it's able to have, execute a program for whether it's a complaint-based system or the system that we had before. What I'm saying is we need some sort of contractor that's able to execute the decisions of the board. Otherwise, it's just going to get wild and chaotic and crazy. I get it that you have the time right now to go out and engage people, but you're going to be here for maybe another year and a half or 2 years.
Are you suggesting
or
I
you
wouldn't?
get reelected.
There
I don't
you
know.
go.
The next director might not have the amount of time that you have. Do we have a body that it's going to keep it sustainable? Paper trail. My opinion is that we need somebody to take care of this. That's all I have to say.
This RFP isn't that somebody. This is an enforcer. This is someone looking for problems. That RFP doesn't work. Try another one. Try an RFP that is somebody who manages complaints that come in. We, as a board, come up with friendly letter number 1, friendly letter number 2, friendly letter number 3, and then that hired consultant person sends those out on a complaint-based system, and then when it hits 4, brings it to the board, we send it to Cole. Here's my point. If the neighbor isn't complaining about it, it's not a problem. It's only a problem when somebody's complaining about it. The beauty of living in a non-HOA section is that you have to work with your neighbor. In an HOA, they sign a deal that everything will be ticky-tacky the same. It's not that way in Anderson Mill West. We are very fortunate that we have a situation where 90% of all property owners do the right thing. So why don't we focus on the ones that aren't, like this person on Blazing Star, deal with them as they are made known to us. Don't go looking for problems. You don't need to go looking for problems. The neighborhood will be fine. We can drive around now and look, it's fine.
It's not fine. I'm going to argue with you, as I'm on a deeds committee, the way that it has changed since Sage has been run out of here has changed drastically. Our neighborhood does not look the same as it did. It does not look as well, and people know that they don't have to follow it right now.
Well,
Because they don't have anybody come by to check. There's cars on the street overnight. I know you want cars on the street, but you know what? Not every neighborhood does.
well,
And so you've got.
again,
you
there
also
is an
have
avenue.
people,
We can go
Linda,
on and on. What I'm gonna
So
do
you
right
have
now, I'm going to
people-
withdraw my
hold on, let me
motion.
just
No,
say
no, no,
this.
give me a
People
minute.
do not want to
Time.
complain.
We have been going on
Yes.
for maybe 45 minutes on this
But
topic.
people don't want
It's-
to talk to their
it's-
neighbors. They want
it's
somebody
clear
else to
that-
do it for them.
I'm going to withdraw my motion. How about that? I'm going to withdraw my motion, and I think we need to, I'm hearing that you're not in agreement with the way the RFP is and posting it like that, right?
Correct.
Okay, so why waste the time to go through a process? So what I'm recommending is that I'm going to go ahead and assign deed restriction committee so that we can hash out a new RFP and get it done, whether it's going to be complaint-based or whatever-based system. And I want to appoint, Kelly, I know you are a paralegal, and I think that's going to be a strong, tool that we're going to have to use here. And and so maybe you and I are going to be doing deed restriction and trying to get the RFP going. Hopefully, we can get something across for next meeting, next month, and then we can go from there.
I just have one statement, that I heard that at one point that we're looking to get rid of deed enforcement. I don't think anybody here is in agreement that we want to get rid of deed enforcement. I think all of us want deed enforcement, we just want it a different way.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yes, the deeds have to be enforced or you lose the ability to enforce them.
Absolutely.
So, everyone here, I think, is for deed
So
enforcement.
would you be okay in serving in that committee if so you and I can work on that?
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
So let me make my notes on this committee assignment. So deed
Deeds is
enforcement,
going to go to Kelly and Hanoi.
Kelly and Hanoi.
Park, Park, it's Kelly and Beth. And I know it's not listed there, but it's under committee assignment. Linda, under invoices, I think you do a great job revising and reviewing those invoices, and bills.
That's the name of the committee. Oh, I can just give me a general word and I can get it. And what I'll do is I'll throw those on the next agenda, and you can ratify your actions that you took tonight about appointing those members.
Yeah. Bills and invoices, and then, David, I want to work with you in infrastructure committee. I don't know if you're okay with that.
Who are you putting with bills and invoices? One person does not make a committee.
I know. I'm just saying, that's where I'm going with, it's either you two, or David, if you want to do bills and invoices, maybe you two can do bills and invoices, and both of us can work on infrastructure.
So,
Is that okay? Okay.
So invoices, and Kelly? Okay. And infrastructure?
And then management information management committee.
Is that going to be due?
Will be,
Through Cole?
well, we can do that together, so we all.
What's
Okay,
that?
so infrastructure can be Hanoi,
And
David.
doesn't your law office do that?
No.
We collect records. No, my suggestion,
He's talking about info management,
yeah,
not open
Kelly.
records.
no, correct.
They're not open records.
For info management, does, remind me the name of the.
Touchstone.
Does Touchstone keep up with current legislation and
They
offer
are
this?
supposed to, but we can absolutely double check, but yes.
So
they are
let's
supposed
get that contract, because I know you've probably heard of OffSynco, another big website.
to. Offsinco, Triton, and Touchstone are almost all identical companies.
Yeah. And so we have OffSynco with most of our, just because that's Katy based. And what they do is they basically manage the entire website. So they ensure that all laws are being followed. Whenever a bill gets passed, they, reach out to the district and say, hey, we need all this information. As you all know what needs to be on the websites now. Some of it sometimes gets lacking, and sometimes when you have a director who's in charge of that, directors change, they can change, and people quit, and sometimes directors aren't kept up to date with what's going on, so it's nice to have a company to handle that stuff. So if you want to have it on the information management committee, have directors, that's great. I would just want to make sure
I'm
Touchstone
almost
is keeping up with
100%
this.
certain they do, but yeah, we'll double
Okay.
check.
So you're suggesting that Touchstone handle that?
Well, I'm suggesting that Touchstone be the primary source of keeping up with the district's
Yes.
website information and making sure everything gets posted, and it not falling on a director to be responsible for sending stuff to Touchstone.
And then information management, for now, we're going to be Beth and I to manage that together, since you've been doing it, right? You've been doing information committee? Okay. Yeah.
Beth and who?
Beth and Hanoi. And we have many other, we have other committees, but I think if we can, I know infrastructure is important, because he's been wanting to meet with us. Linda, invoices.
What about open records? Are you gonna do a committee for that?
That's a board action, and
Really managed by.
and a document that needs to change identifies him as the records manager for the district, and all he has to do is share it. Yeah. I annotated that somewhere in here. Right now it has McGinnis Lockridge, so it needs to be changed. That
Is it on
document.
the website?
Yeah, that document needs to change.
Just needs to be updated.
Bill Flickinger's office still gets district documents and they forward them over to us.
That's nice.
Believe that.
So if you all saw probably the letters from the TCEQ that I uploaded,
Yes.
you see some of them still have old directors listed. That's a classic with the TCEQ.
Yeah, they never update anything.
We have a,
Even though you file a district registration form for
Yeah.
them, they don't update their stuff.
okay, so Open Records Committee,
No one. I think we're just gonna let that be handled by you.
okay.
There's really not a need for a committee because it gets handled for you, and then the responses go out as a need because you get 10 days usually. So there's usually
But you
not
do
much-
need to
I do need
put
to
them on
upload
a shared drive
Yeah, no,
so that we can watch them.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so do I have to repeat these so everybody?
No, I wrote them down.
Okay, good.
We haven't even touched over here.
And again, I can't stress this, but I'm hoping that we can eventually amend our policy to include members of the public of our district to partake in this committee. Because I know we have a lot more listed. I know we have a security committee, a waste management committee. It's like we can't all be serving.
A lot of these committees don't need to be committees.
They can be rolled into others.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. Security, waste management, that's handled by, it's in their base fee. They manage those contracts.
Oh, I thought you were saying I paid for.
No.
I
They
don't.
manage those contracts, and they're the contact person on the website if something goes wrong with either of those areas. So let them handle it.
All right, well, that's it for item 7. Do we have any other reports on open records? We don't have a committee report on open records.
I
unless
haven't
you have
received any open records
anything,
requests.
okay. Any infrastructure committee, well, we've got that information management committee. Director Jones, I know you've been involved with that. Do you have any reports on that? And then if not, then we'll just move to item 8, old business.
you can skip over A. I think that they still have a list of outstanding items that Andrea sent over. They're working through those. As of now, that's all I know about it. Unfortunately, I'm pretty far detached. I just know that they're still working on, what, like 20 items?
Yeah, 19, because we
19.
sent Linda's investment report, but yeah, we've been pestering them to get the information in, so.
I want to ask you about that, and I did send you an email, but it was late. Are we required to have a member of this board complete the investment training?
No, you're not.
It is not a requirement.
Oftentimes, some districts have a director who does it and acts as the investment officer. If you're the investment officer, you need to do the training. A lot of our districts, the bookkeepers offer a service where they have someone in their office who does the training. Most of them all do that, but does the training, and they just act and sign as an investment officer on behalf of the district.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I saw that in one of these contracts, for the accountant, that they would do that. So so we don't need a committee for that, because we have an investment advisor and we will have an accountant that can do that. All right, I just needed to know.
I would say whenever you've got an accountant and hired them, make sure that that was engaged. It's either their base fee or sometimes they charge extra for
Right.
it. But,
In the interim, I do have the training,
yeah,
so.
exactly. So
Okay, so we have discussed C, so we no longer need C, so then,
We got 8B.
oh, sorry, 8B, yeah, status request and RFQ for a district accountant. Do you have
You
any
got
update?
2 proposals, I believe Cole added them to the drive, because one of them went to him and I only received the other one, so I didn't get both. Unfortunately, my computer's dead, so I can't tell you where they are. But they are both on your drive. One is a company called Artesian and one is LNS. I personally work with one of them for a district in Austin already, and they're great, I have no complaints.
Which one?
LNS. They are still Houston-based, so they would be remote participation. However, they're extremely punctual with responding. I've never had any issues where I don't get a response within 24 hours. We have had no issues getting bills paid, payments getting processed, none of that. As far as our teaching goes, I've never personally worked with them, but I have spoken to about at least 15 districts that we have them in Houston, and they are completely great out there. So I don't have any which way to tell you to go on this. I think you should just review and vote, obviously.
They came in late. These proposals came in late. I did get through one and added some comments, but I just ran out of time.
What you could potentially do is just schedule a special meeting if you wanted to, give you all some more time to review, because I don't think we'll have a chance to get them up there today. And then maybe come back in a week or two, and then just do a really quick, short special meeting to make a decision. That way, you can go ahead and move forward with that and move on.
Well, did everybody else have an opportunity to review them? Because if you guys can make a decision.
No.
You did not? Okay, so no, we're not ready.
So we'll let both of those companies know that you all are gonna
Review
and potentially schedule a meeting before the next meeting, but it's up to you all.
Do I need to do anything?
I don't think so.
I have a family emergency, I've got to go.
Does that sound okay? Do y'all want to just give yourself like a week or two to review, and then if y'all want, I'll pull up my calendar on my phone, a date, maybe not next week, but the week after that would work for everybody, so that would be the week of the 31st. The 31st is a Wednesday.
No.
What about the 30th? Because I know David can do Tuesdays sometimes. That still fit your schedule?
No. I'm sorry, I will be out of town until June 9th.
Well, then just do it at your next meeting.
Thank you.
That makes more sense than you're gonna be out of town. I'm gonna be out of town sometime in there too, so we'll just wait till the next meeting.
Sure.
And leave it as is.
Okay, I'll send an email to the bookkeeper.
Yeah.
Just let them
Yeah, just let them know we're gonna post
And
it.
did we even attempt to find anybody local?
Yeah, oh yeah, I sent it to about 3 or 4 friends local in Austin, and
Okay.
all of them, well, one of them specifically responded and said they couldn't. I verbally heard from another at a meeting that Alan's office with Michael, they were like, we're searching for bookkeepers, we can't take on any more right now. So yes, we did, we
Okay.
tried. they're just really hard.
Is there any negative to having a bookkeeper that is not local? And I read there's charges for them to come to our meetings. I'm perfectly okay with the remote participation. Is there any occasion where we would need them present?
I don't think so. We have, for our meetings that are held kind of downtown, in downtown Houston and in Austin, the bookkeepers are close, so they'll come by. Typically, it's a free lunch, and so you want to come in and get lunch and give your report. But a lot of our meetings that are held in the evenings, the bookkeeper will just call in. And the process is the bookkeeper will send the reports out, those get distributed to the board in time for review, and then the packet of checks will also get sent to someone, and then it'll be passed to the board.
With bookkeeping services that we aren't housing in, they just mail them to us and we take them to the meeting. It's no different than.
And they'll call in and attend. A lot of these bookkeeping contracts have, I saw the one that you annotated where it said, long distance phone calls. That's not Houston, Austin, or Dallas, Austin. I can't imagine. I mean, maybe if they were in Rome and you said, can you call in?
Yeah.
That was a charge.
We're going to charge you
Yeah.
for that. But most of the bookkeepers, and a lot of consultants have in their contract, they reserve 1 hour for meeting time, or if it's after a certain time at night that they pay, you pay extra. But that's stuff that can be hashed out with the bookkeepers.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus. That
Okay.
was big. Sorry, there's a cricket.
It's
a big cricket.
I thought it was a roach.
At first. Did you escort him outside?
He's taken out.
Okay, so that's going to be on the next meeting agenda then. Okay. Did he pick it up?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He
That's
pretended to eat it.
Go wash your hands.
Go wash your hands.
They're high in protein.
Yeah.
When you dip them in chocolate,
They're also really great suckers, apparently. Wait, that's a scorpion.
Yeah.
9B.
All right, so we're done with 9B, right?
We're on 9B.
Yeah, but are we done with 9B? Any further?
We haven't got to
You're
9B.
talking about eight.
You're done.
Yes, you're done with 8B.
You're right, 8B.
I was stuck on it too.
And you've done everything between there and now we're on 9B.
Okay.
So this is the landscape agreement that Landcare has submitted. I believe that one was distributed. So have you all had the chance to review that?
Yes, I added comments. How
Unfortunately,
come, I can't see the comments when I look at it here. I can only see it at home. So they were minor. They were minor changes.
Well,
I remember, I can quote one. One, you had something about, you highlighted section, this isn't necessary, this is in the RFP. That
Oh, yeah.
document actually is the RFP, so it's an attachment to the contract. And the reason I added that is because you all had specific services outlined in the RFP that you wanted to ensure were
based
performed.
on the contract.
And so Landcare's initial contract just said, we're gonna do these services, and I wanted to specify that the services that they were gonna do, were gonna adhere to the RFP.
As far as additional
and that's fine.
comments that she made, was any of that what you were going back and forth with them on to get added in?
No.
No, it was things like, what days are you gonna mow? And, I wanted something real specific so that the Parks Committee can be vigilant about making sure to go look and see, did they do that work?
I think that's probably something that once they get on board with you guys, they'll be able to give you a set schedule.
Yeah.
So.
These were just comments. There was nothing wrong with this contract, the way it's written. They were comments because I actually read it.
So as of tonight, if they vote to approve this, then you will send out a term letter to Sunscapes and then give them the option to be out earlier than 30 days, correct?
Correct.
So tentatively, we'll start with Landcare 6/18.
No, June 1st. I really like the June 1st start date, and Sunscape should be very happy to move on.
We hope so.
Yes, because there is a pond that is going to get zapped by Travis County, and they don't want to be our landscaper when that happens. So you could just encourage them. I was stuck.
visitor? Oh, okay.
No,
I was like, is there another one?
I was stuck on this leg over here. I'm good now.
Okay, so.
That looks like a very promising contractor, by the way. I hope it all pans out.
They've been extremely responsive.
Yeah,
So do we need a motion?
Yes, you would need a motion to approve the landscape maintenance agreement as presented.
Would you like to do that, Kelly?
I move we approve the landscape maintenance agreement as proposed.
I will second your motion.
Okay, we have a second? We don't need any further discussion, right? Okay, all in favor?
And I'm gonna add in that motion to also send the termination letter.
Oh, yes, please, yes.
All right, so 9C, discuss district's communication policy.
Let me just finish writing out this motion.
Yep, take your time.
Well, you all can go on, you talk.
Whose agenda item is that?
That's a rollover from last month.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So do you wanna just take it off for next month, Cole? Do y'all need it again?
Actually,
There's a rollover from last month to discuss this.
Yes.
Oh, my bad, sorry.
and I don't know that we can because nobody put the violations out here on the shared drive.
Who seconded the Sunscape land?
I did.
Okay, thanks.
And unless the complaints are out here, we really can't discuss them.
I did not upload any.
No, I didn't, and I frankly didn't know I needed to upload them. I thought it was kind of gonna be more of a discussion, so that's my fault. Also, the person the complaints are against is not present, so I feel like she should have an opportunity potentially to defend herself or to be able to speak to the complaints. So it's up to you on how you all want to handle this, if you want to defer till next meeting or discuss it right now. I mean, obviously, I think it would be fair to, if you wanted to discuss it now, it would be fair to have a summary discussion when Beth is here at the next meeting to go over it, but you all are a quorum, you have the right to discuss it.
Well, the policy is real clear that she has to have 72 hours advance notice so that she can prepare a defense.
Right. I think she did mention to me that she had drafted a statement or a letter, but I know she had a family emergency and had to leave, and so.
So, yeah, then I say we postpone this until she's in the room.
That's fine.
And Cole, you would need to put those complaints out here so that everybody can read them.
I'll put them out.
If you want, I can make a standalone folder that's not in the board meetings folder, specifically for communications policy complaints. And then the whole board would have access to it, including you, and you can just upload them there. That way they're not board meeting folders, so they don't get stuck in a board meeting folder. What we can do is we can make copies into next month's folder.
I'm comfortable with however you all.
That way it keeps it clean and you have it in an actual folder, and then you can add it to your board meetings as needed to discuss. Is that okay?
That's good.
Mhm.
All right, so item 10, attorney's report.
Mentioned, again, item A, it's a standing item. We're going to always leave this on the agenda because we don't know when we'll get public information requests. We have not received any since before your last meeting.
We have not received any either, and I have been forwarding to my email as of now because the current email is broken from Google. They're supposed to be working on it, just FYI. What we'll probably do is in the interim, if you're cool with that, is if you want me to put yours or do you want me to put Renee's email? That way it goes directly to you and
You
I'm
can just
not having
put
to.
mine,
Okay,
and then I can
circumvent
forward.
anything. Okay, we'll do that.
Uh,
That way there's no confusion.
And so, yeah, we did have one about a month ago, a little over a month ago, that was a more in-depth request. It was requesting 5 years worth of hatch lift station reports. We discussed this at the last meeting. It took some time for Infomark and for Gray to compile that information. They had to go back and sift through a lot of records and basically spend some man hours in terms of having to gather that information. But I've sent it all to the resident, and I haven't heard anything since, so I think everything is okay. I do need to go into the chart and update it and fill out. I've been keeping track of my time spent. It hasn't been an insane amount of time, but I've been keeping track of my time spent specific to each resident and what the request is. So once I am able to sit down and get into this chart, I'll be able to update it so you all can see I think I've had less than 5 requests since March, but you all will be able to see what I've been working on and what items have been requested.
I also want to see the material that you're sending forward. So since
Yeah.
it's already been gathered,
Yeah, I can just, yes.
I'm sure Mackenzie can structure a folder that has the spreadsheet of
Okay.
activity
We have
and
a
then,
folder, we just need to structure it a little bit.
yeah, and then the contents that you actually delivered, because I'd be interested in seeing
Yeah,
5 years of
We
Hatch lift
already
station.
have an open records folder, it's probably just a little dated. I'll make sure you have access to it and we can figure out how to reach it.
I've tried, I've seen the Excel spreadsheet that I guess Bill put together, or someone put together, and has.
Suzanne put one together and Bill put one together, so there's two different ones.
They went to Microsoft
Great link.
at college, because I looked at that, it's like, I didn't even know you could click a link in an Excel to take you to a website to get you within to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it blew my mind, so I don't know how to do that. So I will work on getting all that information, but yeah, you're right, I have all the emails in my sent email with all that information, so it'd be very easy to just compile it once I can.
Keep in mind when you upload from Google, I don't know if you use Outlook on your computer, but you have to convert it to PDF.
Yeah, I will. Okay, letters to the TCEQ regarding emergency approval. So I know, I heard on the phone that Herb talked about the letter from the TCEQ that he received for the Hatch lift station. That approval is in your email. I also, our office sent a letter regarding approval to move forward with the debris cleanup without going through the bidding process. The TCEQ also approved that, and that proof is in the board packet as well.
I want to add something because you mentioned this and I didn't mention it. I've also attended the mandatory briefing for you guys to be able to get FEMA assistance. There's quite a few steps involved, but we have until sometime in June to get it done. They were requiring this year in order for you to get assistance back on what you've spent for storm damage cleanups. You had to attend a briefing and then you have to do about 70 other steps to get you there. We're working on it, and it's like you have to create a grantee profile, you have to do all of these different things, then you have to submit all of your documentation, and it basically they've admitted to saying you're more than less guaranteed at least 75% of what you spent. So you probably won't get 100%, they pretty much guarantee you won't, but they're saying if you give them everything, they will pretty much say, okay, you spent X amount, you're 75% back. So.
And the good thing is administrative fees are included in that.
Oh,
so
nice.
when the time comes, they'll ask for those. You can collect. I can send you our invoices. You can compile yours. That's all potentially reimbursable to FEMA.
So we're working on that.
75% is better than no percent.
It's just gonna take a little while, I'll work on it. I attended the briefing and then when they went through the briefing, I was like, okay, this will be short. It was like a 60-page document that they went through and I was like, cool.
Talk to Sabrina and Clay Brandenburg in Houston
Oh,
about
I have, trust me,
Bingo.
all of us have been, we have a group chat about it, we're like, geez. They really want you to work for it this year.
And then the last item, legislative update. So I received a list of bills from Linda to go through. I've gone through about half of them. The majority of them are dead. So they haven't been, they're dead because they haven't been set to House Local. This is a crazy session this year. And the rumblings out of the legislative body is that, well, tomorrow is the last day for bills to be set on the Senate local government hearing. So a lot of your bills, or I should say bills pertinent to MUDs, tomorrow is really the last day for those to be set on calendar to be voted on again. So there are big, you've probably seen in the newspaper, kind of the big ticket items that legislators are working on. It's the hot button topics as usual. Those are kind of the big ones. We've even seen a lot of our bills that we've been pushing through that are typically fairly standard bills to push through that have been getting caught up along the process. I'm sure you've probably seen that as well. It's been interesting. I was actually up there yesterday morning testifying on behalf of a disannexation bill, which was an interesting bill, and it is a pretty straightforward bill, but it's been caught in committee for the past 3 weeks or so. So what I'm going to do is after tomorrow, once I get the firm, if it's not on calendar yet, it's dead. Word. I'm going to put a memo together with Linda with your bills, and then I'll also do some bills that I think are important to the MUD that aren't on that list. So you will be able to get a memorandum on that.
Let me be clear, the list I sent you had way more than just MUD stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
I didn't trim it for you.
No, trust me. I looked at it and I was like, I don't know.
No, I had looked at ones that I thought applied to MUDs, but I just gave you the whole list.
I figured what I could do is at the very least I could just send you an email back with annotations of dead, not dead, or whatever.
Yeah, that will work.
So you all will have that in due time. That legislative process is getting.
It's almost over.
And And that's all I have unless you all have any questions.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion? Second.
Second.
All right. All in
Wait,
favor?
Mackenzie can't make a motion, so do it over. Do it over.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We have a second, right?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Let's go home. Thank you, guys.
On your first meeting.
Hey, Reese, will you stop the recording?
All right.
That one is wonky donkey, you might wanna fix it.
We actually had talked to Touchstone, we're gonna order some new ones.
Because there's a few of them that
I
are.
was bringing my iPad too.
So